Hey, can I ask you a few questions? I like when someone agrees. All right, first question. Which country do you think invented fireworks?
China?
China.
Is it not India?
What do you think?
Australia?
China.
China,
India?
America.
Fireworks, I believe China.
Hey there. How about a creative challenge? Can you make a story with these words that I'm going to give you? They're all related words, by the way. Grandfather, Diwali, honey, volcanic ash, and bird poop.
But how is bird poop and Diwali related?
How long do you think fireworks have been around?
200 to 300 years maybe. 400 years? 1000 years maybe roughly.
I believe it was before 0 BC. It's my wild guess, but I believe 3500 to 5000 years.
4 to 500. 150 years.
2000 years, more than 2000 years, but the gunpowder one came later on, about 1000 years ago.
Ooh, is that a food dabba? Food reminds me. Bird poop was a very important ingredient in something that used to be made. Can you guess what that was?
No, you tell me.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Diwali season.
Crackers.
You got that right. Hey, guys, I have a quick question for you guys. Could I burst a firecracker in outer space?
No.
No, because there is no oxygen in the space. That's maybe the reason.
Ah, interesting. So no oxygen in outer space, so therefore firecrackers won't go kaboom. What about you?
Same.
No. No, why?
Because rocket it won't go that much far.
Rockets can't go that far into outer space. Nice. Alright, I will not reveal it. You guys watch the session. Nice, no?
That was good.
Some of them got the answers right. Some misconceptions, but I do think we have a nice opportunity to help them learn all this better. If you like those questions and those answers, wait for what's in store on
24th of November, we have the next episode of BYJU'S Science Studio coming your way.
the science of fireworks.
So guys, there's a link given to your description. Click on that and press the notify me button.
Oh yeah, and join in, get your family, get your friends, get everybody, because we're gonna do a different kind of fireworks celebration the BYJU'S way.
Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to your very own BYJU'S 9th and 10th grade channel. Today's class is going to be a super special class with me where we are going to be solving top 130 questions, and we are going to be doing 130 objective questions together, wherein we will cover all the 5 chapters in biology, and of course we will do a complete revision of the same. Now, as you all know, today, right, we will be looking at exemplar questions in one go. So I hope that all of you are super duper excited, because trust me, this is going to be the start of something very big on our channel. Now with today's class, right, we can always go back over and again to look at the theory bit of it. But how do we really know that we have actually studied and we are able to apply what we have learned? The only way in which we can do that is when we solve questions together. And yes, we will be solving MCQ based questions together. So students, I hope that all of you are going to be there with me. Target is exactly, Kashish, to get 130 out of 130. Now, why are we doing exemplar questions? Why, ma'am? We should be doing PYQs. Why are you making me do exemplar questions? What is the whole point of doing these exemplar questions? Is it really going to help me? First of all, I know many of you have your science exam either coming up, or your science exam is over, or might be happening, you know, probably tomorrow. But nonetheless, the intent of today's class is to make sure that you practice these exemplar questions. And as we look at today's questions, you will realize many of the PYQs that we have done, many of the PYQs that have appeared take their stem, or that means that the questions are derived from some of the exemplar questions, which is why today, as much as we are going to do, if you think that we're not doing PYQs, you are wrong. It is as good as doing a PYQ session, and we are going to be covering the entire 5 chapters. So now, of course, I hope you are all excited to be there with me. Now there are 2 ways in which we can do it. I can do it as a poll, but the more I keep waiting for polls, our class will go longer and longer, which is why I recommend that we don't do polls and you can give me the answer in the live chat, and I will be directly showing you of the NCERT PDF itself. I don't have any fancy PPT with me today. I will quickly switch to the NCERT PPT. Now, many of you are asking me, ma'am, how long? I have 130 questions with me and it depends on your pace, but I'll be honest with you, this is going to be a minimum 2.5 hour to 3 hour class. On the bare minimum, it is going to be this much, which means that if you've committed to stay with me till the very end, my guarantee to you is that Bio May, you will get 30 out of 30, whether it's your pre-board 1, whether it's your pre-board 2, whether it's your board exam. I will make it a point that you get confidence where you come and tell me, ma'am, I know I'll get 30 out of 30 in my board exams, right? So I hope that all of you are ready. It is actually 133 questions, I think. I hope my math is right. Today we'll do only objective. Jaldi say. If you have exemplar textbooks with all of you, you can open your exemplar and mark it with me simultaneously. In case you don't have exemplar ready and you want to download it, I'll quickly show you where we can go. So can you all see my screen? Yes, thank you so much, Ravi. Are you all able to read the screen and read the question here? I've used a dark background, but if you want me to use a lighter background, we can do lighter ones also, right? So do you want the darker background? Or do you want the lighter background? Which is more visible to all of you? Yes? Which is visible? Quickly tell me. Ma'am, lighter one is visible. ठीक है, हम light करेंगे. Awesome. Okay. So very quickly, thank you so much, Ravi. Yes. So everybody, in your NCERT website, you have publications under which you have exemplar problems. Yes. Dark and light may again competition is there. Now go to exemplar problems and in grade 10 you will find all the PDFs. So if you don't want to have the book and you don't want to purchase it, it's okay, right? Awesome. Now I will have a look. I can see that many of you are here already. I think we'll do the dark one, right? Because it will be easy on the eyes also. Otherwise white is too bright. White is so very bright, but I think it's also clearer. So just give me one moment, I'll also have a look. Yeah, the black one looks a little easy. Darker one looks easy on the eyes, right? So we'll do it in the dark background, it's okay. Don't worry, we'll solve it together, right? Dark may we will do. Awesome. Now all the chapters are available and it's little outdated in the sense that it was last, I think the set of questions were refreshed way back in 2018, but nonetheless these questions are important. Now we have it for life process, control coordination, how do organisms, heredity and our environment. Now what I'm thinking is we will first do our term 2 subjects first. Let's do our term 2 subjects first. That is term 2 chapters. So we will start with how do, we'll do heredity, uske baad environment, and then come to life process and control coordination. How does that sound to all of you? We will first revise term 2 chapters and then come to term 1 chapters. Yes? Okay. Don't start giving me the answers yet. How do say we will start? I'm yet to open the PDF. So jaldi say, let me get ready. Okay, I will switch to it. We have all this fancy technology, so I hope now it is clear. Questions are clear? Yes? Questions are clear, good to go, right? Awesome. So let's get started, everybody. Let me get my color ready. And we are good to go. Okay, so everybody, question number 1. We are starting from how do organisms reproduce. We will do subjective maybe another day, but today we will do entirely objective. Now the first question that we have here is, in the list of organisms given below, those that reproduce by asexual method are banana, dog, yeast, amoeba. Now 4 are given to you, But from these four, you need to give me the correct answer. Which among the following here reproduce asexually? Very, very easy, right? Because when we talk about asexual mode of reproduction, we know that bananas can do asexual mode, which is by vegetative propagation. We know that yeast can do it. We know that amoeba can do it, right? Yeast may we see budding. In amoeba, what do we see? Budding. Amoeba may we see binary fission. So correct answer here is option B. Very good. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, in a flower, the parts that produce the male and female gametes. So let me show it to you clearly. In a flower, the parts that produce the male and female gametes are very, very easy. Yes, all MCQs from bio today. Pura ho jayega. And we'll do it fast also. We'll not waste time in between. Yes, we know that male gamete in flower is produced in the anther, which is the male reproductive part. Female gamete is produced where? It's found inside the ovule, that is there inside the ovary. Hence, correct answer here is option C. Well done. Moving on to question number 3, everybody. Which of the following is the correct sequence? Now, I have seen this kind of a question coming very often, right? So, which of the following represents the correct sequence of sexual events that happens during sexual reproduction in flowers? So, you have 4 options from which you need to tell me which would be the correct answer. Okay, many of you are telling me, ma'am, option C, very good. So we know that for sexual reproduction, the first major event, apart from gamete formation, is pollination, where we know that the pollen grain is transferred from anther to stigma. Once it reaches there, we know that pollen grain germination takes place, after which fertilization will happen. Once fertilization happens, zygote forms. From zygote, embryo is formed. Embryo will develop into a seedling. Hence, the correct answer here is option 3. C. Very, very good. Now, let's move on to question number 4, right? Question number 4, everybody. Offsprings formed by asexual method of reproduction have greater similarity amongst themselves. Why? 4 statements are given to you. Is it because it involves only one parent? Is it because it does not involve gametes? Is it because it occurs before sexual reproduction? Or is it because it occurs after sexual reproduction? So your step number 1 for this should be to identify the correct statements, right? We know that in asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved and they do not produce gametes. Does not mean that this is a process that occurs before or after this. Hence, these 2 statements are wrong. In this case, the correct answer is option A. Very good, all of you. Very, very good. Super proud. Now, keeping this pace up, let's go to question number 5. Now, quick check. You're all able to see the question. Is it visible on your screens? The question is clear. Font and everything you are able to see, right? Everything is good, no? Because I keep changing the dimensions of it. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Let's move on. Chalo. Characters transmitted from parent to offspring is present where? So, where are characters transmitted from parent to offspring? Easy peasy. Not your cytoplasm, not your ribosomes, not your Golgi body, but genes, right? We know that genes that are there are the units of inheritance, and that is what gets passed on from parent to offspring. So, correct answer here is option D. Very good. ठीक है. Let's move on to question number 6, right? Question number 6. Characters that are transmitted from parent to offspring during reproduction show what? They show only similarity with parents, they show only variation with parents, or do they show both similarity and variation with parent, or neither similarity nor variation? Yes? Very good. Now see, they've given you very generally, right? They've not asked you whether this is specific to, let's say, sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. They've generally asked you that when characteristics are transmitted from parent to offspring during reproduction, what do we observe? We of course observe similarities. But yes, there are some slight differences that occur, right? So variations also occur. Not that only one thing is there. And we know that variations are those slight differences between organisms of the same species, which is why correct answer is option C, right? Answer here is option C. Very good. Let's move on to question number 7. Aha, this is so simple. The feature of reproduction that is common in amoeba, spirogyra and yeast is what? They reproduce asexually, or is it that they're all unicellular, they can reproduce only sexually, or they're all multicellular? Very simple. Amoeba is a unicellular organism, so is yeast, right? But can I say spirogyra is a unicellular organism? No, it is multicellular. So these two are incorrect. Can I say they reproduce sexually? No, we don't see sexual reproduction in them because no gametes are there. Hence, what is the answer? Correct answer is option A. Halwa sa question, very masoom question, right? But this will help you recall the concepts that you've all studied. And today's intent is a revision. Today's intent is not teaching. Today's intent is just revision. Awesome. Question number 8, everybody, on your screens now. In spirogyra, asexual reproduction takes place by what? Breaking up of filaments into smaller bits, division of a cell into 2 cells, division of a cell into many cells, or formation of young one. Now see, read the statements here now. Now as we progress into some of the objective ones, you'll see that it slightly gets tricky. See, here we know that in spirogyra, what is the mode of reproduction that takes place? We see that the mode of reproduction that takes place is fragmentation, right? And we know that this is a type of asexual reproduction that happens. Can I say it is a division? Now, the concept of division comes in when we learn about, when we do fission, right? Then we say it's a type of cell division that happens, right? So, division of a cell into 2 cells or multiple cells is with reference to the process of fission, which could either be binary or it could be multiple, right? Now, formation of young cells from older cells. That is not the case. While here, we know that in fragmentation, they will break down. So, if there is a filament of spirogyra, it will break down. It is not dividing, it is breaking down. Hence, it is the breaking up of filaments into smaller fragments. So, correct answer is option A. What is the difference between fragmentation and, let's say, a mode of cell division? Like Kashish is asking me. See, fragmentation when they become into individual fragments, no, then each fragment will undergo further development. But in the case of, let's say, division, like binary fission or multiple fission, parent cell will undergo changes such that when they split or when they divide, they will give rise to full developed organisms, no? So there's no further development that is happening from there. That is why you need to keep that in mind, and the answer is option A. Yes? Cool. We'll move on. Amazing. This is very, very chunnu-munnu question. Question number 9. The ability of a cell to divide into several cells during reproduction in plasmodium is called as what? Is it budding, reproductive division, binary fission, or multiple fission? At this point, I was almost going to give you the answer. Now we know that when a cell, I just told you, when one single cell, say we get multiple cell, and the word divide comes, right? When the word divide comes, we're talking about fission. And when multiple offsprings are there, it is multiple fission. Easy peasy. Yes? Awesome. Rupinder, I saw your homework question, but how about I do those kind of, maybe discussions when I take a break? Because now we are solving together. No, it'll be very difficult to lose the flow. So hence, please don't say I'm ignoring you. Okay. Now this is a very easy question, but this is where we make silly mistakes, right? Question number 10. The correct sequence of reproductive stages seen in flowering plants, right? Now you have 4 options. We know the order, but what happens? We do not read the other options clearly. Now in reproductive stage, especially in flowering plants, in sexual reproduction, what comes first? Very good. It is gametes, right? So gametes are first formed. They come together, fuse, resulting in the formation of zygote. The zygote will further develop into the embryo. The embryo will then further develop and form the seedling. So correct answer is option A. Very good. Let's move on to question number 11. Now question number 11 is a very commonly asked question in boards. Ulat pulat ke this will come, right? This is a topic that is going to come in your boards because I've seen that happen over multiple years. They may not ask you exactly. I'm sure that this has come maybe in your pre-boards or your UTs also. The number of chromosomes in parents and offsprings of a particular species remain constant. Why? Why does the number remain constant? Now I can see that there is a confusion. Is it B or is it D? Is it B or is it D? Okay. Ma'am, it is there in the latest sample paper for Delhi. Yes. Okay. Very good. Good. See, they've asked you, is it after or is it during gamete formation? When does the number become half? Now we know that the number is maintained constant because gametes have half the number of chromosomes when compared to the zygote or the remaining somatic cells or the body cells. But when does that number become half? It becomes half during gamete formation. Not that gamete is formed and then the number becomes half, right? Which is why in this case the option D is incorrect. No, doubling of chromosomes after, right? See, that is again tricky because parents and offspring remain constant because number of chromosomes double. If that means that if there are 46 chromosomes after zygote formation, it has become, let's say, double of it, right? So that will be little incorrect. So Subhash, in this case, it will be option B. Yes? Halving or the number becomes half during gamete formation. It will not be after. It will be during. Awesome. Now we will move on to question number, let me go this side, question number 12. Okay, let's have a look. In rhizopus, tubular thread-like structures bearing sporangia at their tips are called as dash. Yes, we will do that. We will do that, Rupinder. Ye aaya tha midterm mein. Told you. Very good. See, you have rhizoids which are not present or is not a structure you see in fungi. Not roots because fungi don't have that. Now you have thread-like structures or filamentous structures which are called as hyphae. Now we know that hyphae are those thin thread-like structures and we see that sometimes at the end of it they bear these bulge structures called as sporangia. And inside the sporangia what do we find? We find spores. So correct answer is option number B, which is hyphae. Yes? Okay. Next one is a easy one. Question number 13. Now you'll tell me, ma'am, everything you will keep saying easy, easy, easy. But no, truly. Ma'am, is it sporangia or sporangium? Sporangium is singular, sporangia is plural. Simple. Monohybrid cross I will do. Don't worry, don't worry. Next chapter, I will spend my time and do the heredity questions. Okay. This how do is very simple. But students understand one thing. After solving your sample paper, you should realize that how do organisms wala chapter is very, very important. I've seen it last year also. I've seen it this year also. This chapter is very important. So please don't take it lightly. Yes? Now, vegetative propagation refers to the formation of new plants. From what? We know that in vegetative propagation, the vegetative parts are involved, right? So what are the vegetative parts? Parts that are not involved in the process of reproduction or sexual reproduction, which includes root, stem, leaves, because they have their own functions to do. Hence, the answer is option B. Yes, parts that are eatable could be one way, right? Or another way of looking at it is those are vegetables. So edible parts that are not the fruit is said to be a vegetable, but not exactly vegetative, right? Okay. Vegetative propagules. Yes, it's called that also. Very good. Now we will move on. Shivani, how about I do that question once I finish off. So whatever questions you guys have doubt in, I'll mark it and keep. Before we go to the next chapter, I'll quickly solve your doubts. Okay? Yes. Awesome. Now we'll move on to question number 14. This is also something that you can expect, right? Factors that are responsible for the rapid spread of bread mold on slices of bread are. What are the factors that are responsible for it? Large number of spores, is it availability of moisture and nutrients in the bread, presence of tubular branched hyphae, or formation of sporangia? Now we are talking about what will contribute towards the growth, not what is present in the rhizopus, right? So here what do we know? We know that for an organism to grow a lot, right, or to increase in its number, it needs to have a large number of spores produced. Yes, it also needs the right amount of conditions to grow, which is your moisture and nutrients. The presence of tubular hyphae or having sporangia, these are all structural, right? This is all part of the structure. It has nothing to do with the rapid spread of it, right? Which is why in this case, what do we see? We see the correct answer is option A, right? Sorry, it is option C. My bad. 1 and 2, right? It is option C. Because of what? These are the two reasons, or these are the factors that will contribute to rapid spread. So answer is option C. Let's move on to the next one. This one is a lot of tongue twister, to be honest. Length of pollen grain depends upon the distance between dash and dash. Pollen grain and upper surface of stigma, pollen grain on upper surface of stigma and ovule, pollen grain in the anther and upper surface of stigma, or upper surface of stigma and lower part of style. Ma'am, why one? Please say. In which one? Very good, very good. So we know that, I hope I have space on this side. We know that pollen grain germination that is there. We know that when pollen lands on the upper surface of the stigma, they will germinate, right, all the way to the ovule. So the length of the pollen tube depends upon the distance between where the pollen is present on the upper surface of stigma and the ovule, right? So correct answer here is option B. Yes? Maths class normally happens on Thursdays and Sundays, but this time around you also have a class on Saturday, right? Ma'am, in the before question, why 1? See, if something has to grow a lot, if you're saying something is growing a lot, there should be more number of it, right? Which is why in this case we see that the correct answer is option number C. Okay. Let's move on to question number 16. Which among the following statements are true for flowers? Flowers are always bisexual. They are the sexual reproductive organs. They are produced in all groups of plants, or after fertilization, they give rise to fruits. Yes? I'll explain some of the questions that you've not understood towards the end. Don't worry. But we'll keep solving it. Don't worry. Have the numbers written down and I'll solve it towards the end once again. This is easy. Are all flowers bisexual? No. There are some flowers which are unisexual also, right? Bisexual flowers, both reproductive parts present on the same flower. Unisexual, only one reproductive part. But flowers are said to be reproductive organs. Yes, this statement is true. They are produced in all groups of plants. Absolutely not. You have ferns, you have pine trees where you don't find flowers. Not all plants are flowering plants. But will the flower eventually, when it undergoes fertilization and everything, parts of the flower give rise to fruit? Yes. So it is going to be 2 and 4. So correct answer is option D, right? Correct answer is option D. Array, if India lost, I know it was a painful loss, but doesn't mean that we lose motivation. But rather we should get inspired by how they worked so hard and they never gave up till the last minute. Yes? Okay, easy peasy. Next up is also very simple. Which among the following statements are true for unisexual flowers? Yes? Okay. Ma'am, can animals be bisexual? Lower animals, right? There are some lower animals which are bisexual or hermaphrodites. Lower animals may be observed that. Yes? It's okay, Brupinder, don't get distracted. It's fine. Do unisexual flowers produce both stem and pistil? No. Do they possess either stamen or pistil? Yes. They exhibit cross-pollination. Okay. Or unisexual cannot produce fruit. So this is also yes. This is also yes, right? So we know that unisexual flowers do exhibit cross-pollination. And we know that if only stamens are there, they will not become fruits. Because what are fruits? Fruits are nothing but the ripened ovary. Which is why in this case, we see that 2, 3, 4 are correct. So in this case, correct answer is option B. Simple. Do plants have DNA? Yes, plants do have DNA. Quickly, let's move on to the next part, which is question number 18. Yes? Question number 18, everybody. Which among the following statements are true for sexual reproduction in flowering plants? Very, very simple, right? It requires 2 types of gametes. Fertilization is a compulsory event. It always results in the formation of zygote or offsprings are clones. We know that in sexual reproduction, it does require 2 gametes. And when 2 gametes are involved, we know that fertilization is compulsory. And when gametes fuse, they result in the formation of a single cell structure. But will offsprings be clones? Will they be identical to the parent? No, they won't be identical. No? But what will they be? They will be similar to their parent. So in this case, it is option number C. It says 1, 2, and 3. Right? Ma'am, this came in my midterm. I told you. See, the more you solve exemplar, the more you will realize that half of this comes in board exam also. So this will be a good practice. Ma'am, difference between option C and D. See, option D mein they are telling 4 is true for sexual reproduction. 4 is not true. Wherever 4 is there, eliminate. Nahi hoga. They are not clones. Right? So no. So we'll move on to question number 19. So we have a figure given to us, right? I'll draw the figure in the side. It's okay. I'll draw it for all of you. I'm drawing some rough figure, okay? Mine is not proper. This is A, this is B, this is C. And you need to tell me what is A, B and C. You have to tell me, I will cross check once again. Because my diagram won't look that great. I've labeled it correctly only. A, B, C. Ma'am, you are not a genius. Oh, it's okay. Sometimes I read these comments out loud, you know. Sometimes I find it very hilarious. Ma'am, will this happen for chemistry? See, if you like this kind of a class, you want it for physics, chemistry, maths, you let me know in the comments of the video once it is done. Okay, ma'am, R.T. Sharma is necessary. R.T. Sharma is good for practice, right? R.T. Sharma is good for practice. So Khushbu ma'am is doing your 3-in-1. That will be a helpful session where she is picking up all tough questions. So that way you will get good practice for your boards. See, what is A? Now your A and C are part of the embryo, right? So in this case, what is A? A is nothing but the plumule. This is the part of the embryo that will give rise to the shoot system. What is C? C is radical, which will give rise to the root system. What is B? B is the cotyledon, right? And we know that the cotyledon are said to be the first leaves that provide nutrients. Which is why in this case, the correct orders should be plumule, cotyledon and radical. So correct answer is option C. Yes? Subhash, you comment in this video. I'll pass it on to the teachers, right? See, you want it, you let me know in the comments. It's going to go directly. Ma'am, why you want my brain for exams? See, for physics, it will definitely not be helpful, my brain, right? I'll tell you. If you want to solve physics questions, you shouldn't take my brain. Okay. Awesome. Let's move on to question number 20. Jaldi say. Offsprings formed as a result of sexual reproduction exhibit more variations. See, this is going to be a question that will come as assertion reason. I'll tell you one thing. Assertion reason, to pakka it will come in this format only. And how many of you have noticed that every time you see assertion reason, it's going to be based on variation or it is based on some sexual reproduction ka, some kind of paragraph. So please make sure your concepts are clear. Now, why is it that sexual reproduction have more variations? Because we know that in sexual reproduction, there is fusion, right? We know that there is fusion of gametes, which means that genetic material comes from 2 parents of the same species, right? It's not that it's coming from 2 different species, not that there's 1 cat and 1 dog, right? No 2 different species, but rather it's from the same species. Genetic material coming from many parents? No. 2 different species? No. Because it is a lengthy process. No, not at all. So correct answer is option B, right? Ma'am, many parents, what is this? Arey, random option. Don't pay too much attention to it, right? Yes. Ma'am, why not D? Arey, in sexual reproduction, how many parents are there? There is only one parent, right? Only one parent. Now, is variation happening because it's a long process? The length or duration of the process has nothing to do with variation, right? So that is why this right here is very, very important. All of you, if you want this for other subjects, you let me know in the comments. You should flood the comments. Then I'll pass it on to Kritimam and Saurabh sir. Awesome. Moving on. This is Chunnumunnu question, right? Reproduction is essential for living organisms. Why? Why do they need reproduction? Who is laughing at me? Or is somebody else laughing at the other one? Don't laugh at each other. If you're laughing at me and my voice, I can't do anything. I'm sick. Ma'am, what a question. You imagine if this came in board exam? You guys would be so happy, no? Ma'am, instead of all that assertion, reason and complicated question, you give bio ka essay easy peasy questions. You guys would be so happy, no? Easy. Why do we need reproduction? Why do organisms require reproduction? Because they need it for the survival or continuity of organisms from generation after generation. Right. I'll name it in the end. I know my regular students. I remember them also. Sometimes that's why despite your username, sometimes I remember your real names also. During adolescence, several changes occur in the human body. Mark one change that is associated with sexual maturation in boys. Yes? Easy peasy, very simple. So we're talking about the sexual changes during adolescence in boys, right? So is it loss of milk teeth? Is it increase in height? Is it cracking of voice? Or is it weight gain? Somebody is here telling me weight gain. Okay, I hope it's a prank. Very good. Very good, all of you. Very, very good. Exactly, right? So to new students here, welcome to my class. Awesome. Now, of course, when we talk about changes that happen, it is going to be change in voice, right? So we know that in males especially, there is development of the voice box, and there's also a slight development of the cartilage especially, which is why in males we observe the Adam's apple, a small protrusion that you see in the neck region. And we see that cracking of voice, where their voice suddenly becomes very deep, right? All of that is a characteristic that we observe. Now, loss of milk teeth and weight gain is not associated with sexual maturation. Now, how about increase in height? You could say that, ma'am, it could be, right? Increase in height could be a factor. Now, increase in height is something that you see even in childhood where there's increase in height. But if the term growth spurt came, right, sudden increase in height, or there is a growth spurt that takes place, that is something we normally see during adolescence, right? Where we finally attain maximum height. Females don't have this one. What is that? Adam's apple. Okay. Ma'am, I have doubt in question 11. See, whatever doubts are there, keep it written. I'll solve them towards the end. Awesome. Question number 23. In human females, an event that reflects the onset of reproductive phase. That means that a woman is now sexually mature and can reproduce. What is the event? Is it growth of body, change in hair pattern, change in voice, or menstruation? Yes? Very easy question, right? Very simple and easy. Very good. It is menstruation. What is menstruation? Menstruation is nothing but the shedding of the inner lining of the uterus, right? So we know that the inner lining of the uterus is normally thickened with blood and mucus. And when fertilization as an event, right, when fertilization does not happen, then we see that along with the unfertilized egg, this inner lining, right, with blood and mucus will be shed off, which is why in this case we see that the correct answer is option D. Very good. Now let's move on to question number 24. Students, on your screen now. This is again very important as a concept because last year as an assertion reason this question had come. Yes? In human in human males, the testes lie in the scrotum, Because of what? Process of mating, formation of sperms, easy transfer of gametes, or is it all of the above? Now this right here is an assertion reason statement. Now this can come even in the form of assertion reason. It has come last year, so please keep this particular pointer in mind. We know that the testis is extra-abdominal and found in the scrotum because we know that for the formation of sperms, it requires a temperature slightly lower than the body temperature, which is why in this case, correct answer is option B. Now next up, we have question number 25. Which among the following is not a function of the testis at puberty? Formation of germ cells, secretion of testosterone, development of placenta, or secretion of estrogen. Now, as you all give me the answer, right? Many of you are asking me what is the difference between puberty and adolescence, right? So, puberty is basically the point of life. It could be at 10 years of age, 11 years of age, 12 years of age, right? Wherein a person attains, which means that the body has now undergone a transition and has now attained sexual reproduction, maturity, right? So, the body has now become mature enough. But it is the onset, right? That means it is like the point from which there's a lot of changes that happen. So, it happens during a period of, let's say, 10 years, let's assume, right? Like your teenage years that are there. That whole time period of teenage, right? Or that whole transition period is what you call as adolescence. Yes? So in this particular case, what do we see? Very obvious. Testis is responsible for formation of germ cells. In this case, it could be the sperms and secretion of testosterone, but has nothing to do with development of placenta or estrogen. So in this case, what do we see? Correct answer is option A, 1 and 2. Simple. Mahika, this is live, but I'm interacting less with my students because we want to be fast with our questions, right? So we need to be a little fast and we don't want to waste too much time. That is why we are going a little bit faster than normal, right? Ma'am, really, ma'am, these will only, you never know, right? What if they come? They could come in the board exams also. But again, like I always tell you with bio, although sample paper my questions were very easy and direct, don't expect that it will exactly be likely that in boards it will be easy and direct. It could be tough also because we saw that last year. Last year boards, some of the questions were very tough for bio as well. So don't get overconfident as well. Be confident, but don't be overconfident ki ma'am bio nahi padna, last minute we will do because we will manage. That should not be there. That's all I'm saying. Ma'am, for the okay, I am coming back to this. The correct sequence of organs in the male reproductive system. Sequence questions can happen, right? Feedback mechanism is important, very, very important. Ma'am, last one answer is option C. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I didn't read the question. Which is not the function of testis at puberty. Sorry, my bad. It is not. See, I made a silly mistake. I'm also human, right? I also made a silly mistake. I did not see the knot. I keep telling you guys that, you guys don't read the question, you don't see the knot, and then you answer this. My God, I also did it. But yes, these two are not the function, so correct answer is option C. Yes, I know you. I feel funny because I keep scolding you. I mean, not scolding you, but I keep advising you for the same thing, right? That you don't see the knot. What is estrogen? Estrogen is a female sex hormone that is responsible for the changes within the body, right? So basically all the sexual changes, secondary sexual characteristics in females, all of that is regulated by estrogen. Yes? I know, right? Neha, I need to concentrate. I will now. I'll read sentence by sentence. I'm not used to the pace, so I'll get used to it. The correct sequence of organs in the male reproductive system for the transport of sperms is. Yes, we will do assertion reason also. Don't worry. I know, no, 10 points is gone. Easy. It is testis, vas deferens and urethra. Because we know that from the testis, it goes to the epididymis, from which it is taken to the sperm duct, which is also called as vas deferens. From there, this will loop over the urinary bladder and join the urethra, not the ureter. It will join the urethra. So, correct answer is option A. Super. Now moving on to question number 27, which is the last question for how do organisms. Last question. Which among the following diseases is not sexually transmitted? Right? Ma'am, question 27 came in my exams. I know, these are, I told you, right? When you look at exemplar questions, we tend to ignore it because we think, "Arey ma'am, PYQs are more important." But exemplar is also equally important. Now, when you look at syphilis, HIV, AIDS, and gonorrhea, right? We know that these three come under the category of STD, which means they are sexually transmitted diseases, right? That means that they can be transmitted through sexual contact. But on the other hand, hepatitis will not come under the category, right? So the correct answer is option B, hepatitis. So there you go, students. We are done with 27 questions out of 130. Now, on a scale out of 27, did you all get 27 out of 27? All of you got 27 out of 27, na? Or 26 out of 27? Maybe 25 out of 27? If you have got 25 and above, pat on the back, right? It is time for you to do pat on the back. Yes? That is what we want. You will not even realize, see, when you do objective questions, one of the best things is that ऐसे जल्दी solve करके you can go, right? But when we do subjective, it takes a little bit longer time. But yes, 27 out of 27, that is our aim. Yes, that is what we aim for. Now, I would like to, how about for our friends, we will do 2 questions which they have doubts in. I saw that question number 12 mein you guys had some doubt. Which was question number 12? 12 is rhizopus. Hey, rhizopus is easy. See, in fungi, they are made up of these thread-like structures, right? Which are called as hyphae. And network of hyphae is what we will call as mycelium. Yes, so when many hyphae come together, it is called as mycelium. Now what happens is when this hyphae, they go upwards, right? Sometimes they will go upwards like this and they'll form a balloon. They'll form a balloon-like structures, right? So this balloon-like structure that you see is what you call as the sporangium, or plural is sporangia. So they're asking that this tubular thread-like structure, which has the sporangia on top, right, is what is nothing but hyphae. Yes? Very simple, easy. Okay. Now moving on, some of you had doubt in question number 11 also. See, 11 is how is the number of offspring, so the chromosomes maintained from generation after generation. Yes, Bhavya. How is it maintained generation after generation or from parent to offspring, especially during sexual reproduction? We see that when it goes from parent to offspring, they produce gametes, right? And during gamete formation, what happens? We see that the number becomes half. So if in a normal cell in my body, it has 46 chromosome, the gamete will have only 23. So that number becomes half during gamete formation and thereby it is maintained. Yes? Okay. Now one last question that I like to take before going to heredity is, ma'am, if fallopian tube is cut in tubectomy, then will menstruation be affected? Where will the egg go if the way is blocked? See, normally tubectomy mein what happens is that it is a release of hormones into the bloodstream, right? So, I mean, in tubectomy when it is ligated, what happens is that even though it is ligated, menstruation can still happen. The reason being that the process is regulated mainly by the release of hormones, and hormones are released into the bloodstream, right? So that way we see that the process still happens, but does not mean that there will be an issue to the menstrual process. Yes? Okay. Now students, how about we take a 1-minute water break and we go on to the next chapter? Are we ready for the next chapter? Yes? It will disintegrate. Ayushman, it will disintegrate. Are we ready, students, for the next one, which is going to be your favorite, also giving you a little bit nightmare chapter, which is heredity, right? We'll take a water break. Jaldi se take a quick water break. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video, right? It's okay. Ma'am, not favorite. I know, but with heredity, I'll tell you, if you guys, you have to keep practicing it. Today I feel like after we solve it in these questions, no, you'll feel good. You'll feel good. I'll keep it here. Now, as you know, we have some questions from evolution which is deleted, so don't worry. Ma'am, will a lady undergo double circulation twice when she's pregnant? Arey, she'll have double circulation no matter what. If you're pregnant, you're not pregnant, double circulation happens, right? Okay. Okay, I'll quickly drink water. Ma'am, it's too tough. Ma'am, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen regulates the secondary sexual characteristic like development of mammary glands or the breasts, development of, pubic hair, so on and so forth. The secondary sexual characters. Progesterone is secreted in high amounts during pregnancy, right? So we called it as a pregnancy hormone. Yes. Now I see that there's a lot of drilling sound that has come suddenly. मैम कितने चैप्टर हो गए? बस एक, अभी बाकी है बहुत सारे. ठीक है, shall we start? Are you guys ready? Heredity में relatively lesser number of questions are there for exemplar. See, maximum number of questions are there from life process, control coordination. Heredity में relatively less, right? Let's go. Are we ready? Are we ready? See, I need Josh to be very high. Today, trust me, you will not realize how you have solved so many questions at one go, right? Okay. I get your question. How about I answer that when I do life process, if you don't mind, okay? Ma'am, please ask question about plant hormones. We'll do all questions. Don't worry. Okay? Let's go. Question number 1. And this is a question I had already solved with you very recently. Yes? Sakshi is already saying, ma'am, no. I know I don't want to solve these questions. Okay, wait, one sec. Let me just increase the font size a little bit. Okay, let's have a look. We've solved this. Exchange of genetic material takes place where? Does it take place during vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, or budding? Very good. Very easy, no? When we talk about exchange of genetic material or crossing over of genetic material, transfer of genetic material, we know that this right here takes place during sexual reproduction. Hence, the correct answer is option C. Now, let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2 is not complicated. It's a little bit of logic. We see that there are two pink flowers on crossing resulted in one red. Oops, just one second. I'll decrease the size. Yeah. So we saw that there were two pink flowers. Okay. So they crossed these two pink flowers, and what did they get? They got one red, they got two pink, and they got one white. Now the nature of this cross will be what? Which means that how did they get this? Did they do this by doing double fertilization, self-pollination, cross-pollination, or no fertilization? Okay. Everybody is telling me, ma'am, cross-pollination. Now, can I tell you one sentence? How many of you remember this sentence from monohybrid cross where they say that, let's assume you took two parents, right? You crossed it. And what did you get? You got the F1 generation. Now what do? In the F1 generation, when we self it, how many of you remember this sentence? When the F1 generation is selfed, we get what? We get the F2 generation. How many of you remember this statement? How many of you remember this statement when the F1 is crossed? Right? When the F1 is selfed. Don't get confused with the word when we say on crossing. Right? They are saying on crossing means we fertilize these two. Now they are using, how are you doing it? By the selfing process, right? So when you're saying selfing process, you have this ratio 1:2:1. This is the phenotypic ratio in monohybrid cross, right? When you take one characteristic, in F2, what is the phenotypic ratio? It is 1:2:1. Yes or no? Do you all agree with me? So now, which means that this is your parents are in the F1. So when you say F1 is selfed, now what will be the answer? Yes? Moksham, pay attention. Divyansh, Kriti ma'am is the best for that. Kriti ma'am is the best in that case. I mean, I know my organic, but still. Now you give me the answer. Very good. Very, very good. Ma'am, how do you know? Oh, how do I know organic? That's because I've actually made... I have a triple major actually from my BSE. I've done chemistry, botany and zoology. That's why I know my chemistry also. Yes, ma'am, what is genotypic ratio? Sorry, did I say? Yeah, this is phenotype only. No, this is genotype. My God, I'm getting confused here. Genotype, huh? Genotypic, yes. Today I'm off my game, I think. Genotypic, my bad. Right? Genotypic. So, okay, but 1:2:1. It's geno. Yes. So, answer is option B, self-pollination. So, once again, I'll explain. We had two pink flowers, okay? Two pink flowers which were crossed, which ended up giving us one red. It got us two pink and one white. So, we have a ratio of 1:2:1. Now, in this case, this is the genotypic ratio that we observe in monohybrid cross, not phenotype, my bad. So now what do we observe? In this particular case, we see that because the F1 generation is there, it is being selfed, right? So correct answer is option B. Yes? Okay. Arav, if you're going to disturb, get out of class, or do you want me to block you? Now the only reason this is a little bit tricky is because, now don't think about it too much, but I'm giving you the answer. This idea of pink and red, no? This red that is there is homozygous dominant. But sometimes in heterozygous condition, there could be co-dominance also, right? So there could be co-dominance where even the recessive gene can maybe dominate. So when you go to 11th standard or 12th standard, you learn a little bit more about it. That is why here it is a little bit tricky. Yes? In the sense, I got a little confused in between. Awesome. Let's move on to question number 3, right? Question number 3, everybody, is a cross between a tall plant, homozygous tall, which is crossed with a short pea plant, which is homozygous dwarf. It resulted in a progeny where all were tall. So the correct answer, tallness is a dominant trait, shortness is a dominant trait, tallness is a recessive trait, or height of a pea plant is not governed by either. Easy, right? This is very simple, easy, pretty direct for us. We know the answer to this. We know that tallness that is there is a dominant trait. That means whether in homozygous condition. What is homozygous? Homozygous means that the allele that comes from mother and father are both similar. Or it could be heterozygous. Heterozygous means the allele that comes from mother and father are different. They are dissimilar. So in this case, in both homozygous and heterozygous condition, we see that the trait will always express itself. And such trait is called as a dominant trait. So answer is option A. Now moving on to the next question. Which of the following statement is incorrect, right? So which among the following statement is incorrect? For every hormone, there is a gene. For every protein, there is a gene. For production of every enzyme, there is a gene. Or for every molecule of fat, there is a gene, right? Okay. Yes. Okay, I remember. Shravani, pay attention. Everybody stop. Saujit and everybody, Trilochan. Do you want to get blocked? My laptop is right here. I came prepared this time that if spammers come, I will block you. Now, no mercy. See, board exams have come earlier. I used to entertain all this. But now it's time to pay attention. So if you come and spam or you trouble people, I will have to be little strict and block you. So avoid doing that. Okay? Yes. Very simple. You know the gene is a fragment of DNA that codes for a protein, right? Now here, You know that this statement is true. Now hormones and enzymes. Hormones and enzymes are what? Hormones and enzymes are nothing but proteins, right? Which is why in this case, to say that there is a gene to code for a particular hormone or there is a gene that codes for an enzyme, we see that this right here are all correct. But for every molecule of fat, there is a gene. That is not the case, because you see, for fat synthesis or for any kind of compounds to be generated by fats, it is regulated by enzymes. Now whether it should be the breakdown of fat or let it be the formation of new fat based compounds, right? They are all synthesized, let's say, with the help of enzymes. So in this case we see that it is going to be option D, right? See, fat, that is putting on weight, Subhash, that is weight. Ye wala fat could be your molecular fat also, no? Like your steroids and all that. Wo wala is weight that you are talking about it being an acquired trait. Yes? So that's, don't get confused there. Now we'll do some repeated questions, right? Now I can already see all of you doing this behind the screen, saying, "Arey ma'am, ye dihybrid car round wrinkle wrinkle, you've come with all this RRYY. Now what is this case?" We have already done this question if you have attended my heredity mentee, right? So you have, this is basically your dihybrid cross which is put in an ulta manner, right? So you have a round and green seed which is crossed with what? It is crossed with wrinkled and yellow. Yes? So this is RRYY. So what will you get? You will get a heterozygous one, right? So which is round and yellow. So correct answer is option A. Very simple, not too complicated, right? Easy. Saujit and Mars, do you want to get timed out? Yes or no? You tell me. Question number 6 is also a repeated question. Simple. In human males, all chromosomes are paired perfectly except this one. These unpaired chromosomes are. So we're talking about in human males, all chromosomes are paired perfectly except which? Which are the ones? Yes, that 1:1 ratio question is also there. Easy. It's in human males, the last pair that is there is the sex chromosome, right? That is the last pair, which is XY. So it is 3 and 4. So in this case, answer should be C. Simple. Very, very important question on sex determination. Do not forget to remember this bit, right? Sex determination bit is very important. Now let's move on to question number 7. Also based on sex determination. The maleness of a child is determined by what? The X chromosome in the zygote, Y chromosome in the zygote, cytoplasm of germ cell which determines the sex, or sex is determined by chance. Varun Bacha, if you're not going to solve questions, it is okay. You can come back and solve. No problem. Easy. We know that the maleness of the child, right? We know that it is the presence of Y chromosome. So this is what gives the maleness that is there. Which is why in this case, what do we see? Answer is option B. Very good. Next up is also very simple. Not like it will come in board exam, but still good for practice because 3 mark, 5 mark questions will come for sure. A zygote which has an X chromosome inherited from the father will develop into what? So there is an X chromosome which is inherited from the father. And we know that from the mother, the child will always inherit only X chromosome. Which is why now the zygote has 44 plus XX. So what will it be? Array, this is practice. That is why I told you, this is going to be practice for all of us. If I say pakka ye aayega, to then you will be like, ma'am, itna simple to nahi aayega. Okay, very good students. It is going to be B, right? Because it is going to be XX. Super. Now let's move on to the next one, right? So the next one is something you don't need to look at because this is from evolution bit. So we'll move on to question number Yeah, I think we can do question number 10 or question number 11, sorry, because new species formation is also part of evolution. Now this is one question where you all said, ma'am, I did not get time to solve during the Menti, right? So question number 11 is something that I need all of you to have a look at. There are two pea plants, one with round and green seeds and the another one with wrinkled and yellow. They produce an F1 progeny which are all round and yellow, right? So we got one which are all round and yellow. Now when the F1 plants are selfed, the F2 progeny will have a new set of combination. Choose the new set of combination. Now remember the combinations that we saw up there. What did we see? We saw that we had parents which were round and green and wrinkled and yellow, right? So we had round and green, we had wrinkled and yellow. I hope I wrote this correctly. One second. Yes, wrinkled and yellow. What are new combinations? So simply put, don't do the dihybrid cross, but see if these are the original parents, what are the new combinations that can come, right? This right here is very easy, right? One is going to be round and yellow, right? Round and yellow is going to be one new combination. Yes, then the other one that is going to be there is going to be wrinkled and green, right? So we will have one which is wrinkled and green. So that will also be a new combination because these two we see that are found in parental generation. So hence what will be the answer? Anything which says 1 and 4. So correct answer is option B, right? Yes. Who wants to get blocked? Rajput Bacha, you want to get blocked? Shall I open my laptop and block you immediately for spamming? No, you don't want it. So please avoid, irritating, not irritating, but disturbing the class. I will not use a word like irritating. See, it's going to be very simple and easy, right? It's going to be very simple and easy. Now what they have given to us, they said that there was a parental generation, right? So this is a dihybrid cross. Now in this, what did they say? They say that there were two pea plants, one with round and green seeds and the other one with wrinkled and yellow. Now they took those two seeds, they crossed it and then they got an F1 generation. From that, they did self-pollination. Now they're saying that the progeny will now have some new characters, new combination, right? So you got a new combination, which means this is there in your parent. Now what are the possible new combinations? Now you remember your dihybrid phenotypic ratio, right? So your dihybrid phenotypic ratio. Yes, what is it? It is 9:3:3:1. That means you can potentially have 4 combinations. You have 2 in your parents. Now what are the other 2? Just do essay crossing. Round and yellow, wrinkled and green. That is why in this case we see that the new combinations without you really doing the dihybrid cross is going to be option number B. That says round and yellow, wrinkled and green. Yes? Very simple and easy, right? Okay. Now let's move on to question number 12 is not there. Question number 13 is also not there. 14 is also not there. 15 is a question we can solve. Question number 15, everybody. Which among the following statement is not true with respect to variation? Is it that all variations in a species have equal chances of survival? Changes in a genetic composition results in variation? Is it that selection of variant by environmental factors forms the basis of evolution, right? Or is it variation is minimum in asexual reproduction? Which is not true. We know the answer to this. And you can expect that this particular question can come in the board exam as well, right? So sure chances that you will get it. Just give me one moment. Very good, all of you. Very, very good, right? So in this particular case, what do we see? Ma'am, please wait a little for us to think. Rajput Bacha, now I have to time you out. You've been spamming for a very long time. Very good, Ankita, for getting good marks in your pre-boards. Very proud. Okay. Are we ready? Yes, Vijaya, you can ask me your doubts, right? Now, this is very simple. Now, in this particular case, what do we observe? We know that what results in variation. We know that change in genetic composition is what results in those slight changes of variation. So, this is true. Selection of how are variations selected? That means how is it or what decides that this variation or this slight difference will go on from generation after generation? That is based on environmental factors. And we know that in asexual reproduction, we don't really observe a lot of variation because of the cloning process that takes place or the DNA copying mechanism. But can I say that all variations in a species have equal chances for survival? No, right? Variations can be beneficial or harmful. So this right here is not true with respect to variation. This particular topic or concept can come for assertion reason also. So please star mark and keep it ready, right? This is going to be important. Now next question that we have is a very chunnumunnu question, right? Very simple one, not too complicated. A trait in an organism is influenced by what? Paternal DNA, maternal DNA, both maternal and paternal DNA, or neither of the two? Yes? Vijaya, population and food security. I might cover it over the next 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks I'll finish it off. I mean, if I don't take live, I will try to record the video and push it. So don't worry, Vijaya. Very, very good. So a trait of an organism, right, is not influenced by paternal or maternal only, but it is influenced by both maternal and paternal DNA. So hence the answer is option C. Very good. Now we will move on to question number 17. Oh no, question number 17 is also not there, 18 is also not there, 19 is there. From the list that is given below, select the character which can be acquired but not inherited. So which is a character that can be acquired? That means that it will develop over an individual's lifetime, but it is not something that will be passed on from generation after generation. Size of body. So here size of body is what many of you are saying. Some of you vaguely are giving me D as the answer, which is nature of hair. Now what do you understand by nature of hair? For those of you who are telling me, ma'am, it is nature of hair. Yes? I will keep my chat ready in case if somebody does something. Now I can see all of you have changed. Okay, ma'am, no. C only. C, color of eye, color of skin, nature of hair. That means what type of hair you have. Wavy hair, straight hair, or what color of hair you have. All of these are inherited. That means they are obtained or passed on from generation after generation. But in this particular case, when we talk about size of body, what is size of body? With respect to weight, or maybe it is with respect to probably with respect to weight, we see that that is something that is acquired over an individual's lifetime. Which is why in this case, what do we see? The correct answer is option C. Okay. Who is this saying stop and all? What happened? Kya hua? Are you telling the drilling sound to stop? Then we can't do anything. Very good. Tallness also to an extent, yes. Next up, we have another question, which is again a simple one only. The two versions of a trait which are brought in by the male and female gametes are situated where? Now, this is a question again that we solve which can be confusing. Copies of the same chromosome, two different chromosomes, sex chromosomes, or any chromosome. We are talking about two versions of a trait are brought in by male and female gamete. Yes, male and female gamete. So where will they be situated on? Okay. Very good, very good. I can see the answers coming. Everybody's telling ma'am sex chromosome, sex chromosome, sex chromosome. Now, when two gametes fuse, right? When two gametes are going to fuse, will it be that only X and Y are fusing? Only sex chromosomes are fusing? No, right? There are 22, which is coming 22 plus X coming from the mother, and let's assume 22 plus Y coming from the father, right? Now in this case, they are saying two versions of a character. Now all the characters, let's assume hair color, eye color. It is not that all those characters are found in the sex chromosomes, right? It could be found in any of those homologous chromosomes that are there, or what I will call them as corresponding chromosomes, right? They are called as corresponding chromosomes, or what I can say that they are copies of the same chromosome. Yes, are you all clear? The word corresponding means that if there is the first chromosome in the female, the corresponding first chromosome will come together and they will form a pair in the zygote. Similarly, if there is the third chromosome, then the third chromosome from the mother and father will come and will form this. Okay, how many of you are still confused with this part? Do you want me to explain this once again? Okay, cool. I'll do this once again, right? Now let's have a look at male and female gamete, right? So here we have a male gamete. So let's assume this is male gamete and this is a female gamete. This is a female gamete, okay? Now we have 22 plus X and 22 plus X coming in, right? So when 22 plus X and 22 plus X are coming in, after fertilization we will have zygote. Zygote formation takes place. Now zygote here will have 44 plus XX. You are all with me on this? Ma'am, up tak so we are clear. 44 plus XX. Now, how are these 44 chromosomes present? Now, is it that all these chromosomes are arranged in one line? So if 44 are there, is it that they are all like this? No, na? But we know that they exist as, if 46 chromosomes are there, they exist as 23 pairs. That means when they come to our body, right? When those 23 pairs are there, there are different kinds of chromosomes in different shapes and different sizes, right? So there are different chromosomes of shapes and sizes. But chromosomes that are the copies, what happens? Which means that these chromosomes that are similar in shape and size, yes? There will be one chromosome that is similar in shape and size from the father, right? So this will come from the father and this will come from the mother. So similarly, what will happen? We see that in this case, all those 23 pairs, right? Those pairs are formed. Those pairs that are there are formed based on this, wherein they come in different copies, right? Or I'd say pairs of chromosomes are formed based on shape and size. So what do we call this? We call them as corresponding chromosomes, right? We will call them as corresponding chromosome, or we will call them as homologous chromosomes. What are they? They are chromosomes of similar shape and size, which is one from the mother and one from the father. Yes? So they become pairs. So that is how you have these 23 pairs that are there. And last pair that comes is your X and Y pair, which is your sex chromosome. Now, all the information that is there is not present in all the DNA of our body. See, if you don't think that, I know it's easy for us to say, ma'am, DNA pe, imagine that information is present in the DNA. But you think about it. In our case, there is so much information. So every chromosome or every single chromosome will not have all the information. There will be some genes which will be present in this pair, some information in this pair, some in this, right? So information is spread across these 46 chromosomes that are there. Yes? Now what you need to understand is that two versions of the trait. So we see that from the father there will be one version for color of eye. There will be one version in mother also. So when they come together, that is when they will be able to express. Are we clear? Yes? Are we clear? Yes or no? Rajput, I'm going to time you for some time because you have been disturbing, right? Sneha, think of it as if you need to have 46 chromosomes. One pair will come from mother, one pair will come from father, right? Now what will happen? If one pair is coming from mother and one pair is coming from father, we see that they will pair up now. See, it's not like 44 will just be cluttered and put inside the nucleus. What will happen is they will pair. What are they going? How will they pair? Will they be like randomly, like you be my pair? No. They will pair up based on their shape and size, right? So we call such chromosomes as corresponding chromosomes or homologous chromosomes. Now each set of chromosomes hold information, yes? That is why two versions of the trait, one from father and one from mother, when they come in, we see that the information is located in copies of same chromosome. That means on the corresponding ones, which is why this right here is important. Okay. Are we clear now? I hope it is clear. Answer is option A. Not sex chromosome. See, sex chromosome may basically determines the sex of the individual. Doesn't mean that it is always going to be sex chromosomes. Now question number 21. Question number 21 I am telling you is very important because it has come in sample paper. Similar type has come in sample paper. Similar type has come in your last year's paper also 2022-23. So this right here is very important. You have 4 statements given about genes and you need to tell me which is the correct statements that describe the characteristic. Now if you see, I've also done a short which is based on the PYQ challenge that is going on, right? 75 days, 75 PYQs. The first question I picked was this, which is based on characteristics. Yes? Vansh, do you want to be the next one who wants to get timed out? Steve, Arnavi. Okay, I will remember your name. Genes are specific sequences of bases in a DNA molecule. In a gene does not code for proteins. In an individual of a given species, a specific gene is located in a particular chromosome. Each chromosome has only one gene. So what is the answer to this? Everybody's telling. Ma'am, question number 22, explain. Arey, I'm going to question number 22. Ma'am, diamond ko unblock karo. I'm only unblocking and blocking. So don't spam. See, this is easy, but it's also important, right? So when we talk about genes, we know that genes that are there are basically sequences of DNA. Or you can say they are specific sequences of bases in a DNA molecule that codes for a particular protein. So this right here is true, but option 2 is false. You cannot say that genes do not code for proteins. They do code for protein. In an individual of a given species, a specific gene is located in a particular chromosome. Yes, right? Genes have a specific location on a chromosome. But does it mean that only one chromosome will have one gene? Absolutely not, right? So in this case, this is false. So any option that has 1 and 3 is correct, which is why correct answer is option B. That says 1 and 3. Yes? Okay. Siddharth, Neha, the only green flag that you need to look for is being confident in heredity. That is a green flag. Forget red flags. Now you... Okay. If you keep spamming, I'll block you also. I've become the very strict now. I don't like being a strict teacher, but looks like I have to not be strict. Ma'am, why 4th option is not correct? Because 4th option is not correct because it's telling that gene is... See, statement 2 and 4 are incorrect. And they're asking you to say which will describe the characteristics. Hence, what is the correct answer? That is why this is incorrect. Simple. Now, let's move on to the next one. We have a pure tall plant which is crossed with a short plant. Now, they are asking what is the ratio of pure tall is to pure dwarf in F2 generation. Pure tall is to pure dwarf. What is the answer? Hello, Zo. Hello. See, now in the F1 generation, what will you get? You will get all tall, right? So you will get all tall. Yes? So you're going to get all tall. So now all are tall. I know somebody is not reading keywords. People who are giving me wrong answer has not read keyword. Pure tall. And they've also told you what pure tall means. They have also told you what pure tall means. Then what is the answer? Now you revisit your answer. Who's giving me answer as option B? Revisit it and give me the answer. So F1 May you got all tall, right? So you got all tall. That means they are all heterozygous. Now if they are all heterozygous, for F2 what should you do? Cross these two. Yes. So when you cross these two, what are we going to get? I feel like this drilling machine is competing with me for who's going to be the loudest. Let me make some space. Now when you're going to do this, right? You will get this combination. So what are you getting? You are getting one which is homozygous tall, right? That is TT. Then you are getting two which is heterozygous tall, which is TT, that is heterozygous condition, and one which is homozygous dwarf, right? Which is small t, which means if it is pure, the word pure is equal to homozygous. In that case, what is the answer? I know I've done a very similar question. So people who have not attended that class are the ones making mistakes today. Now what is the answer? You have to tell me that it is between these two, right? Between this and this. So in this case, what is the answer? It is 1:1 because they're saying pure tall is to pure dwarf, right? So correct answer is option C. Now you need to pay attention to these keywords. Otherwise all these silly mistakes are bound to happen, right? Okay. Very, very good. Now let's move on everybody to question number 20. Oh, we are here to the last few questions. Now let's move on everybody. Question number 23. Okay. Yes, we have a one shot done by Ankita ma'am. But in case if you're looking specifically for my explanation, I've done it last year, right? So my last year's explanation is available. Now the number of chromosomes on the number of pairs of sex chromosomes in the zygote of humans. Number of pair. Don't be in a hurry, right? We are talking about the number of pairs of chromosomes, right? So what is the answer here? How many pairs are there? Do we have 2 pairs, 1 pair? Yes, we have 1 pair of sex chromosomes, right? So we have 1 pair of sex chromosomes. So the answer is option A. 24 is not part of our syllabus. It is deleted. 25 is also deleted. Thereby, you are done. We are done with heredity as a chapter. Now, of course, in this heredity chapter, if you see, we have a lot of interesting numericals. In long format, if you see, lot of numericals are there which we will solve later on. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are we feeling about heredity? We know that some concepts need to be brushed up, right? We need to brush up some of our concepts, right? Need to brush it up and need to, make it a point that mistakes we tend to make. Yes? Okay. No problem, no problem. Ma'am, that last question made my day. I know. See, I'll tell you something. The more questions you solve in heredity, the more you will feel confident. So probably sometime next week, if I get a 1-hour slot any time of the day, right? I'll try to take a class on heredity numericals. And I'll also make it a point that I share my older video where I have solved these heredity numericals. So don't worry about it. We will solve more and more questions. Yes? No problem. Okay. How about now we take a 5-minute break? 5 minutes, we'll take a water break because I think this drilling sound that is there, I feel like he's going to drill into the studio and come at this rate, right? So how about we take a 5-minute break? I know, I hope that by then they stop doing this construction, right? 5 minutes, I'll come by 8:45. Ma'am, we want at least 3-hour numericals. No, why not? Cool, we'll do it later. See, I'll do it probably next week, right? Next week is when I'll probably do it. So I'm going to go back to this screen. I'll give you a blank screen and but you have to come back. Don't be like I'll go and I'll never come back, okay? You guys, every time I give break, you will be like, yeah, bye-bye, I'm not coming back. So we will resume at 8:46 p.m. and the next chapter we will do is environment. Environment is very chunnumunnu chapter, very easy, right? So we will start with environment, okay? We'll come back at 8:46 p.m. I need to have all of you. I'll take attendance. Hello, everybody. Are we back? Yes? Are we back? How is the Josh, right? We're done with two very huge. We feel like there's a, ma'am, why are you coming and going? So Ayushman says, I'm coming and going like an evil nun. Yeah, I'm very scared of horror movies. That movie scares the life out of me, But still, I still go for it. I mean, even though I'll be crying and screaming there, I will still go watch all those movies. But anyways, I'm back. Actually, I came and I realized that I'd muted the audio. There's so much construction work happening. I hope that they're done by this time. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. It's time for them also to go home. So I hope that they're also gone. But yes, we are back and let's get started, right? Yes, I remember all of you now. I hope that all of you who came back. I hope they have not been like, ma'am, break ho gaya, abhi to we don't feel like solving the remaining questions, no? So I really hope that everybody has come back. Good evening, I can see Raghav. Quick attendance check. Send me lot of hearts. Jaldi se. Ma'am, 2 more minutes. Okay, 2 more minutes we'll take, no problem. Ma'am, I never left. I know. You guys, when you text, I should reveal this. When you guys think that you text in live chat and other, like maybe say upcoming sessions and all of that, no, you think we teachers don't know. We know about whatever is happening. Just letting you know, okay? We are very aware, but we choose to, just be like, theek hai. I mean, not to, disturb you. You also have your life and should not be very, there, but Present, ready. Awesome. Okay. All one. Is it? Everybody came back. Has everyone come back? Oh, that is amazing. Now, more or less, everybody is back. It's okay. Sometimes some of them would not, watch the live and they'd come back for the recorded bit. But okay. Let's start. Anmol is very excited to start. So, okay, let me go. I will start with our environment wala chapter. See, our environment is a very sweet chapter. 5 marks will come. You have nothing to worry about it. It will ask you very simple questions on food chain, or it will ask you a little bit about, it'll ask you a little bit about ecosystem and all of that, or some biodegradable stuff, or ozone. Easy peasy. Ma'am, now white seam. I feel like my hand. You'll be able to see what I'm writing better when I write it in the dark one, right? We'll do black. It's okay. See? Your eyes are not strained till now to some extent because of the fact that I am doing in black theme, right? So we'll keep it consistent. Mid-session, if I change, what will the people who are watching it later think about? So jaldi, let's pick up the pace and don't forget to hit the like button on the video as well. So keeping the Josh intact, let's quickly go on to question number 1. Which among the following is an artificial ecosystem? Yes? Amazing. I remember you, Infinite. I mean, I forgot your real name, but I remember your username for sure, right? But very good. Cute sa chapter hai ye, bahut cute sa chapter. Artificial ecosystem, that means it is not naturally found. Ponds, lakes, forests, they are all naturally found, right? And we know that they are all classified as natural ecosystems. Today, the drilling sound wants to compete with me, but I am not losing. So in this particular case, what do we observe? We know that an ecosystem that is there, right? So an ecosystem that is there is basically a space, right? It is where living and non-living. Yes, so an ecosystem is this place where we find both living and non-living organisms that interact with one another. And in this case, all of these 3 are natural, while crop fields are artificial. So correct answer is option B. Now moving on to question number 2. In a food chain, right, the 3rd trophic level is always occupied by dash. Is it carnivore, herbivore, decomposer, or producer? So you have the 3rd trophic level. So you have trophic level 1, trophic level 2, and trophic level 3. Yes? So we have these 3 trophic levels. Which occupies the 3rd trophic level? We know that the first one is occupied by producers, right? So this is occupied by producers. If a producer is there and we have an option as herbivore, the herbivore will occupy the 2nd trophic level, which means that the 3rd trophic level would be occupied by carnivores. So correct answer is option A. Very good. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. This I kind of gave the answer also, but an ecosystem includes what? It includes all living organisms, all non-living organisms, both living and non-living, or sometimes living and sometimes non-living. Very good, all of you. Very, very good, right? I know it feels like they're going to drill into my studio today. But anyways, right, it's happening in a different floor and we can't really do anything about it. But very good, all of you. In this particular case, we see that the correct answer is option C. An ecosystem includes both living and non-living organisms that interact with one another. Correct answer is option C. Now let's move on to question number 4. Yes, question number 4 is a type of question you will get in your board exams. There's a food chain given to us, right? Suppose the amount of energy at the 4th trophic level is 5 kilojoules. What will be the energy that is available at the producer level? Yes? So, we have what is given to us at the 4th trophic level. Now, 4th trophic level means 1, 2, 3, 4. Snake. It is 5 kilojoules, right? So, in this particular case, what do we see? I'll just refresh it on my screen. Yes. So this is what is given to us. You guys solve and tell me. You guys solve and tell me. I'll wait for you. I'll not give the answer. You're all complaining, telling, ma'am, you are only giving the answer. Ma'am, why not decomposer? So in the previous question, it will not be decomposer because decomposers are towards the final stages of the trophic level, right? 3rd stage specifically is normally a carnivore. Calculate, Arnavi, no problem. Yes, Anmol, send me your doubt. Ma'am, you win. I don't know, that drill sound might come anytime. These guys are scaring me. So what is the concept you're going to apply? You are going to apply the 10% law, right? Which means that when there is flow of energy from one trophic level to the next, we see that only 10% is transferred to the next trophic level. And flow of energy is always going to be unidirectional. So in this case, if at the 4th trophic level, 10% transfer tak, it becomes 5 kilojoules. Then backtrack it and tell me how much will it be there at a producer level. So if at the 4th level, there should be 5 kilojoules, there's 10% of 50 will give me 5 kilojoules, right? So similarly, if a frog should receive 50 kilojoules, then it will get 10%, if only 10% of 500 is going to give me 50. But if the grasshopper has to get 500 kilojoules, then 10% of 5000 kilojoules is what is going to give me the answer. Or that is what is going to give me 500. Hence, the correct answer is option D. Now, this right here is going to be very, very important, this topic especially, because it is a sure short question. Either you will get this for 1 mark or you will get this as a 2-mark question. Right? So everybody, do not forget to skip this topic, or don't ever skip it by default. By mistake also don't skip it. Now moving on to question number 5. Accumulation of non-biodegradable pesticides, right? Non-biodegradable pesticides in a food chain in increasing amount from one trophic level to the next, or as it accumulates across trophic levels. What do we call this condition as? Eutrophication, pollution, biomagnification, or accumulation. Okay, let me have the chat open because I see some spammers. Very good, all of you. Very, very good. Anshika, I understand that you have a lot of school. Your school seems to be very jam-packed. So for self-study, I would recommend that if you have free periods, you can study a little bit in school as well. Or manage your time in a way that after you come back, you try to finish off your homework. Finish off your homework either in school or you try to finish it off as soon as possible. So use your time wisely in school where you have free periods and all that, right? ठीक है. Coming back, accumulation of non-biodegradable pesticides in increasing amount at every trophic level is nothing but biomagnification, right? That means let's assume at a lower trophic level there was consumption of this pesticide. And let's say an organism from trophic level 2 ate trophic level 1. Now what has happened? It is non-biodegradable. That means it cannot be broken down by the body. So it will accumulate within the body. And as the organism travels across different trophic levels, that will still keep getting accumulated, which we call as biomagnification. Not eutrophication, which is different, right? That is basically when there is a lot of pollutants in the water bodies that results in algal bloom, right? That is what we call as eutrophication. Yes? Okay, I know, I'm winning this round. Depletion of ozone is mainly due to what? Chlorofluorocarbons, carbon monoxide, methane, or pesticides. Yes? Okay. Dukey boys, you have won a chance to get timed out. See, today I'm in a very fun mood. Easy. Depletion. See, now again you remember, no? You had your XY question coming in your sample paper, which was based on this, right? So in this case, we know that depletion of ozone is mainly due to chlorofluoro compounds that are there. So correct answer is option A. Next up, we have question number 7. Organisms which synthesize carbohydrates. So they synthesize carbohydrates from inorganic compounds using radiant energy. Is called as what, right? Is it decomposer, producer, herbivores, or carnivores? You know, when I read this question, I laughed a little bit. Radiant energy and how they've tried to confuse you. Okay, so in this particular case, this is very simple and easy. Awesome, all of you, awesome. Correct answer is producers, right? Process of synthesis of carbohydrates using inorganic compounds is nothing but photosynthesis using solar energy. Option is B. Next up, in an ecosystem, the 10% of energy available for transfer from one trophic level to the next is in the form of dash. Is it heat energy, light energy, chemical energy, or is it mechanical energy? Yes? Yes, awesome. I will help you out, Anshika, don't worry about it. This is very simple. You are talking about 10%. See, when it goes from trophic level 1 to trophic level 2, that 10% of energy gets transferred in what form? It gets transferred in chemical form, right? Or chemical energy is the mode in which it gets transmitted. Heat energy is how the remaining energy that is there gets released in the form of heat energy. So this in this case would be chemical energy. Yes? Cool. Organisms of a higher trophic level which feed on several types of organisms belonging to a lower trophic level constitute the dash, right? What is it? Hello Rupa, hello. Yes? Okay, let me have a look. Awesome. Easy, no? We are talking about... Why are you all getting confused? Some of you are saying food chain. It is food web. Why? See, when, let's assume there is an organism at a higher trophic level, right, feeds on several, right, at a lower trophic level. Thereby what will happen? They will all form a web, right, which is called as a food web. Several, which means food web. Food chain and food web mein difference kya hai? Food chain is a linear sequence of who eats who. It is a single sequence. But when there is multiple involved, right, at every level, it becomes a web, which is called as a food web. So very simple and easy. Correct answer here is option A, food web, right? Super, super simple. Okay? Awesome. Now we will move on to the next one. Flow of energy in an ecosystem is always what? Unidirectional, bidirectional, multidirectional, or no specific direction? Okay. Awesome, all of you. Very good. Some of you wanted an explanation for 10% law. See, in 10% law, basically, let's assume there is a food chain, right? So we have a food chain where we have, let's assume, 3 trophic levels. Trophic level 1, trophic level 2, trophic level 3. So we know that this is basically a sequence of who eats who, right? And why do organisms feed on food? Because they need to get energy, right? So what they're saying is that when an organism feeds from one trophic level, yes, they will end up getting only 10% of the energy. So if, let's say, plant, right? There is a plant and there is a deer. If the deer is eating the plant, it will not get all the energy that is present in the plant. It will only get 10% of the energy. So that is what we call as the 10% law, right? And it goes on for every trophic level. Now, an important thing you need to remember is that flow of energy in an ecosystem. I gave the answer already to this, but it is unidirectional. That means that it will go only in one direction, not that it can go in the reverse direction. Not that from, the tiger, the plant will get energy. So it is always unidirectional. Yes? Answer is option A. Array, what? Now, students, last warning. Directly parallel conversations, time out. Okay? Next up, everybody. Next up. Excessive exposure of humans to UV rays results in what? Damage to immune system, damage to lungs, skin cancer, peptic ulcers. Exposure to UV rays. Skin cancer to is easy, ma'am. Skin cancer we know. But what else, right? What else is there? What is peptic ulcer? Peptic ulcers is because of exposure to that, or is it damage to immune system? Some of the cells of the immune system get damaged, right? See, peptic ulcers are basically what are ulcers, if you think about it, are normally found in your digestive tract, right? So peptic ulcers is something that we normally find in the, let's say, esophagus, small intestine or stomach. They're like blisters. Sometimes you get ulcers in your mouth also, right? Sometimes they'll be very painful, these blisters that will be there in your mouth that will hurt, those are ulcers. So we normally find it in the stomach. Yes, that's a type of stomach ulcer that is there. So no, not because of exposure to UV that people get peptic ulcers, could be due to diet or multiple reasons. Sometimes it could be pathogenic also. Damage to lungs, no, which is why we see that damage to immune system. So in this case, what is the answer? Answer is option C. Yes? Now let's move on, everybody, quickly to the next one. This is actually pretty interesting. Following are the groups of materials which among the groups contain only non-biodegradable items. So here you have 4 combinations, right? From this you need to identify which is non-biodegradable. Yes, you can ask me your doubt. Manish, you vote for me. You pay attention to me. Yes? क्या हुआ हर्षित? Which one did I not explain? Oh my God, what is DDT? Take a guess. Use logic now. You use logic. हर्षित क्या explanation चाहिए? बोलो. Good, good. Many of you have given the answer. Very good, Subhash. Very good. Okay. Ma'am, what is trophic level? Trophic level is a level which is occupied by an organism in a food chain, which we call as trophic level. Very good. Many of you have got the answer correctly. Okay. See, now you have wood, paper, leather. Paper we know is biodegradable, right? So in this case, all should be non-biodegradable. That means they cannot be broken down, right? Now here grass is biodegradable, so this is also incorrect. So in this particular case, what do we see? Right, we see that polythene, detergent, PVC, plastic, bakelite, DDT. DDT is basically a chemical substance which is used as a, I think it's a pesticide, right? Pesticide or weedicide, one of them, right? So we see that they are normally sprayed to get rid of it. So it's a kind of chemical substance that is used, and they are normally non-biodegradable, which is why in this case the correct answer is option D. Yes, 2 and 4. Now let's move on to question number 13, everybody. This is also very easy. Which of the following limits the number of trophic levels in a food chain? Yes? Ma'am, insecticide. Oh, thank you. It's, like I said, I keep getting confused with insecticide. Insecticide, pesticide, more or less. Huh. Yes. So actually with DDT there was this whole thing because it was actually banned. People say you should not use it because they don't get they're not degraded easily, right? So they're not advised to use DDT anymore. It's an insecticide, not a weedicide. Monkey D. Saujit. Wow. All One Piece fans here. Strategy for bio. Towards the end I will tell you. Okay. Very good, all of you. What limits the number of trophic levels, right? So this is again a question, if you see or if you remember in your sample paper also, we saw a very similar question. We know that if there are more number of trophic levels, then we know that if only 10% keeps getting transmitted, right? So we see that if it keeps getting transmitted, if only 10% goes from one trophic level to the next, then we see that at the higher levels, the amount of energy is going to be very, very little, which is why the number of levels of trophic level in a food chain is limited, because as it goes to the higher levels, the amount of energy decreases, right? Yes, very good. Now we will move on to question number 14, everybody. I think we are almost done with this chapter also. Which among the following statements, right? Which among the following statements is incorrect? All green plants and blue-green algae are producers. Green plants get their food from organic compounds. Producers prepare their own food from inorganic compounds. Or plants convert solar energy into chemical energy. See, if I give that answer, Poco, you guys will all get distracted. Yes, I can see that, Saujit. I will answer all this towards the end. And we can do 5 minutes of getting to know each other, right? Okay. Very good, very good. Should be easy. Hooray! Ma'am, but the amount of food taken is the same now, so how will it get reduced? Where is that question? Arnavi, so basically amount of food intake is the same. Then why? Because they're only able to take up 10% or utilize 10%. So even if I eat if I eat a plant, right? My body cannot fully get the energy from it. I will only be able to get 10% of it, right? ठीक है. Why is A an incorrect statement? That blue-green algae and green plants are not producers? Now I will catch people. Vote for A. A is wrong. Now only I will tell you, A is wrong. Now you go one by one. Ma'am, maybe A. Ma'am, maybe B. Ma'am, maybe C. Is this exemplar? Yes. Okay. See, all green plants, I always tell you, green plants, if the word green is there, they will do photosynthesis. They make their own food. Blue-green algae, yes, they also make their own food, right? So if they make their own food, they are all producers. This statement is true. Now, they get their food from organic compounds. What is the difference between an organic and inorganic compound? Now I know I may not be able to give you a fully justified statement, right? But organic compounds are those which are mainly found, let's say, in living organisms, right? Or in living matter per se. That is what we call as organic matter, which is why decomposition of plants, right? Or decomposition of waste materials like from plants or from, any kind of excreta that is there, they're all said to be breakdown of organic matter, right? Because they're obtained from living organisms. Exactly. Inorganic that is there mainly includes all your elements, right? Or includes various other compounds that are there. So in this particular case, what do we see? Green plants get their food from organic compounds. No. Water, carbon dioxide are not considered to be organic, but rather they are said to be inorganic compounds, right? So they prepare their own food from inorganic substances like carbon, again, with respect to inorganic is not the compound but the substances that are there. And they convert the solar energy into chemical energy, which is why in this case, what do we see? Which statement is incorrect? Option B, not option C. Yes? Okay. Ma'am, how does UV help in producing ozone layer? Because in your atmosphere, you have oxygen, right? Now, with the help of the UV radiations, oxygen will get split into oxygen atoms, right? So, they'll get split into oxygen atoms. And because these oxygen atoms are so highly reactive, they will combine with the existing, the other molecular oxygen, resulting in ozone. Yes? Okay, are we all clear? Correct answer is option B. Now let's move on to the next one. Which of the following organisms are not the constituents of a food chain? Which among the following are not constituents of a food chain? Now read this statement carefully. I'll zoom this in a little bit more so that you are able to see. I think it's too zoomed in. You have grass, lion, rabbit, wolf, plankton, man, fish, grasshopper. You have wolf, grass, snake, tiger. Then you have frog, snake, eagle, grass, grasshopper. Very good, all of you. Everybody is voting for option C, which says 2 and 3. Now 3 is very evident, right? Now in 3, what do we have? Wolf, grass, snake, tiger. I am not able to find a herbivore, or I am not able to find a primary consumer here, right? So I am not able to find a primary consumer. Now if I am not able to find a primary consumer, then I know for a fact that this food chain cannot exist, right? Or these group of organisms cannot make up a food chain. Now for those of you who want the easy way out, this so easily you will find. This so easily you will find knowing that it is not part of a food chain. Now I'll give you one trick. Look for an option which has only 2. Whichever has 2, right? So whichever has 2, you look at it. Now in this case you will know that this right here is, whichever has 3. So now you are left with these 3. Yes? Now you have plankton, man, fish, grasshopper, right? You have plankton, man, fish, grasshopper. Now they have not specified what kind of plankton, right? Whether it is a phytoplankton. If phytoplankton was there, it would have been little complicated, but they've just mentioned plankton. So in this particular case, we know that this is also not possible, which is why answer is 2 and 3. So in this case, correct answer is option C. Very simple, right? Ma'am, 4th is so B and D eliminates. B and D eliminates. Wait, 4th is so, because B and D eliminates, and the one is, I'm not able to get the logic, Ashvi, but I think you are right. I'm sure that if you got the answer correctly, then it makes sense. Plankton are these small substances that we find, right? So they normally find in aquatic regions, but we have 2 kinds of plankton. You find phytoplankton, zooplankton. They're all tiny, tiny organisms. So phytoplankton is a little more plant-like, and your zooplankton are a little more, they are a little more animal-like. Hence, that is the case. They are tiny organisms in water. Now moving on to question number 16, everybody. Very easy. The percentage of solar radiation absorbed by all green plants for the process of photosynthesis is what? 1%, 5%, 8%, 10%. Yes? PDF will be available. See, I'm solving it on the CBSE website PDF itself. So you can, if you have the exemplar textbook, you can solve it side by side. Yes? Okay. Very good, all of you. I can see the answers coming in. It is 1%, right? So as you all know, 1% of the solar radiation or the solar energy is actually absorbed by the plants and it is utilized for the process of photosynthesis. So correct answer is option number A. Now let's go on to question number 17. So we have an image given to us, okay? So you have T1, I'll just draw it on the side here. So you have T1, T2, T3, T4, right? You have all of these. Now based on this, you need to tell me at which trophic level is maximum energy present, right? So at which trophic level will you find maximum amount of energy? Very quickly, everybody. Why is everybody telling me B? Ma'am, I am unable to understand the previous question. I'll quickly explain it to you. Don't worry. Yes? Okay. How sweet, Poco. See what is... Okay, let me explain the previous question and this question together, right? For our friend Vishnu. Now, you have different trophic level. Now, your trophic level 1 will have what? Your trophic level 1 will always have your producers, right? Now, your producers are your plants. Now, the thing with plants is that they produce their own food, yes? And to do this process of photosynthesis, they need to take their energy from the sun. Now, how much of solar energy do they use? Now, if sun is giving 100% of solar energy, right? It's giving 100%. The plant in itself has the ability to utilize only 1%. In that 100%, they will take only 1% and use it for photosynthesis. So 1% of energy is utilized for it. And let's assume it made 10,000 joules here. 10,000 joules of the energy. But from this, only 10% gets transferred. So 10% law is applicable from T2, T3, T4, right? So here it will be 1000, here it will be 100, and here it will be 10. Which is why, where is the maximum energy? Maximum energy is found at the T1 level, right? T1 level is your producer level or trophic level 1. Ma'am, I have a doubt. 1% means only 100 plant can take energy. No, 1% means it can take only 1% of the energy. So if sun is giving 1000 joules, right? It will take only 1% of 1000. That is what we mean by this. Yes? Okay. Now let's move on. I think we have last 3 questions on the next slide and we are done with this chapter also. Now question number 18 is very, very important because this can come as a 2-mark question in your boards, right? Yes. Ma'am, T4 mein it is 100 now. That I would have made a mathematical mistake for sure. See, if this is 10,000 joules, this will be 1000, this will be 100. Yeah, T3 mein it will be 100. 10,000 is how much I am finding at T1. Okay, then 10, it will go. Okay. Not 10,000 joules was absorbed by the sun. Don't get confused. Going back, what will happen to the deer, right? So what will happen to the deer? What will happen if this deer goes missing? Yes? So if the deer goes missing from the food chain, what will happen to this food chain? Yes? What will happen? Population of tiger will increase. Population of grass will decrease. Tiger will start eating grass because it has no other choice. Or the population of tiger decreases and population of grass increases. Yes? Okay. Very good, simple. See, if there is no deer, if there is no primary consumer, then it will not be that the population of tiger will increase. Poor tiger does not have food to eat. No, it will be starving. Poor thing will be hungry. So it will not increase per se because it's not having enough food. How will the population of grass decrease? The only way in which the population of grass would decrease if this deer kept eating more and more of the grass. But now there is no deer only, so then that is not the case. Now tiger will start eating grass. Absolutely not. Even if it wanted to, it would not, right? Last but not the least, the population of tiger will decrease. Yes, because it's not having enough food, right? And the population of grass will increase. So in this case, the answer is option number D. So this is a very logical kind of question that is there, right? Very simple and easy. Ma'am, only 1% means only 100 plants. Are you saying 100 plant will take energy, or you're saying that only 100% will take energy? I'm still very confused. ठीक है. I mean, I'm not able to get the question, Trilochan. That is the problem. Question number 19, everybody. Question number 19. Manoj, we are assuming there is no other animal. Decomposers in an ecosystem will convert inorganic material into simple form, convert organic into inorganic, convert inorganic into organic, or it will not break down organic compound at all. Yes, what will the decomposers do? Can you tell me? So I told you, right? Decomposers that are there act on dead and decaying matter, like dead organisms, so on and so forth. So what kind of matter do you find in them? You will find organic matter, right? Or living matter. So in this case, what do you see? This organic material will be broken down into simple inorganic forms. It will not be converted into inorganic से organic नहीं होगा. Inorganic से simple material तो नहीं होगा. And of course, decomposers have to do decomposition process. So you cannot say that they are not going to do anything. Yes? So correct answer is option number B. Are we all clear? Okay. Second last question, all of you, which is, if a grasshopper is eaten by a frog, the energy will be transferred from where to where? Producer to decomposer. It will be transferred from producer to primary consumer to secondary consumer, or secondary consumer to primary consumer. Ashar, why tiger cannot eat grass? Because see, a tiger's digestive system, right? Every carnivore's digestive system is built in such a way that it is there to process meat. Now in the case of grass and everything, they have cellulose, which is not going to be digestible by the tiger. So even if it eats it, right, it's not very ideal for it. Okay. Mahi, why are you spamming, bacha? Please don't spam. See, grasshopper is a primary consumer, right? So grasshopper that is there is a primary consumer. Now, imagine you have grass, is a producer. Normally, grasshopper will feed on it. Yes? Grasshopper will feed on it. Then what? If there is a frog which will eat it, now you tell me. This is a producer. This is a primary consumer. This is a secondary consumer. So answer is option C. Are we clear? Yes? Ma'am, please explain how decomposer will convert organic to inorganic. Vishnu, think of it as breakdown process. Similarly, like how we digest food within our body, where we convert complex substances into simple soluble forms, we see that even decomposers have the ability to convert complex organic substances into simple ones. So that is what we understand by this. Okay? Ma'am, how is it C? Subhash, grasshopper. A grasshopper is a herbivore, right? Grasshopper is a herbivore, which means that it will feed on a producer. So in this case, it is a primary consumer, right? Primary consumer. Ma'am, it is not in primary. It is, bacha. It is primary consumer. Don't get confused with producer. See, don't get confused with a producer. Here your options are producer to primary consumer. Here we are saying frog is eaten, right, by the grasshopper. Yes, frog is eating it. So from where to where will the energy go? Where will the energy go? It will go from this to this, right? You all agree with me? It will go from primary consumer to secondary consumer. It will not go in the reverse direction, na? So that is why answer is option C. Yes? This question is there to trick you, so pay attention. Okay? Okay. Now moving on to last question for our environment. Last question. Disposable plates should not be used because of what? They are made of materials which are lightweight. They are made up of toxic materials. They are made up of biodegradable materials, or they are made up of non-biodegradable materials. What is the answer? Plastic is your keyword. Easy, right? Very, very simple. Plastic is your keyword. Very good. We know that plastics are non-biodegradable materials, so we know that they will not decompose easily and they take a long period of time to decompose. Hence, the answer is option D. So with this, everybody, we are done with 3 out of 5 chapters. In your term 2, we have finished off your term 2 bit. Now, how confident are we feeling? Ma'am, super, right? For bio, abhi itna we are doing. So many questions we have solved. So I hope ma'am, why not B? Arey, we use plastic in our day-to-day life. Do you think it's made up of toxic substances? If it was toxic, we would not use it, no? On a scale of 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Ma'am, can we do? No, Navya, I know. But this is a marathon. Ma'am, not for bio, but for this chapter. Why, Ashvi? Is it because of heredity? Ma'am, now life process. How many of you want life processes now? How many of you are like, ma'am, life processes is the chapter? Actually, life process has better questions. Control coordination is so easy. 11 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Ma'am, 50 out of 10. Aha. Okay. Awesome. So keep the likes going, keep the Josh going. And with this, we will move on to life processes, everybody. So life processes actually has the maximum number of questions. Has about 35 questions that we will solve in life process. And I think with that, see, to be honest, I have not totaled it properly, but 130 to ho jayega, right? Ma'am, no, control, not easy. You see exemplar questions, very easy it is. And they'll ask you those kind of questions only in board exam. Okay, 50 out of 10. So you are, no. Awesome. So I'll give you a quick water break, everybody. Jaldi se pani pee lo. And any of you who want to have dinner, right? See, I know that sometimes if class goes late, you guys might be sleepy. So I would recommend that if you're not able to stay with me till the end, come back and watch it. I'll not force anybody to stay in class, right? Because I know sometimes it could be, you guys have school and everything, na? So you will be very tired. But I'll try to finish, I think by 10:30 tak ho jayega, 1 hour mein it should be done. Ambitious, but okay, let's see. 10:30 though definitely it will be there. I am not going to lie. I told you 2.5 hours. So I have reached my 2.5 hour mark right now, but now I'm saying it will be 1 more hour. But I should have Josh, right? See, if you don't, like I said, if you want to have dinner right now, have dinner side by side, and you can talk, you can give me the answers in the chat or watch it. Or else, what you can also do is, I mean, firstly, if you've not had dinner, please have dinner. Secondly, it's okay, right? I mean, if you're not able to stay with me till the very end, you feel like, "Arey, ma'am, nahi ho raha hai," it's okay. You can come back and watch the video. Ma'am, requesting you for people as a resource. Yeah, I know, I'll record that soon. I think I snacked in between. I went and I had one bourbon biscuit in between. So when I gave you that break, I quickly went and I ate and I came back. So I have the full Josh. I just hope that you guys keep the Josh till the end, right? So eat dinner right now. I'm actually talking to you right now to give you a break and then we'll start solving. Notes of this session will be tough, bacha, because I'm solving it on the website directly. So you can watch it and eat it side by side. Tissues also we will do all of it, don't worry. Do you want to take 5-minute break? 9:35 we'll start. 9:35. How about thoda sa hand leg we'll stretch and come back. Jaldi say no. 4 more minutes we'll take. No problem. Yes or no? No, ma. See, splash some water and come. Don't worry. Take your water and come. I know. Jaldi. 4 minutes will go by very fast. I'm telling you. Okay? So, take it. Even if you don't want it, you take it because I know that you want to be awake for life process, which is why take it. We will come back at 9:35. 4 minutes. It's okay. Take it. Or think of yourself as I need it. That'll be better. You don't need it, but I need it. Okay? So you stay with me. Wash, splash some water, stretch a little bit, right? And come back. Okay, no problem. No issues. Come back and watch the video. Hello everybody. We are back. Are we back? Did we all take a nice break? Are we feeling confident? Yes. Time is up and everybody is waiting for this one opportunity where they can say that ma'am is late. So you can hear me, see me clearly, everything is good, right? Shall we get started? Okay, amazing. Ma'am, how are you old? Arey, Ritika, take care of yourself. You just need to rest well, right? Ma'am, very big break. It's okay. Take it. Okay, so let's get started, everybody. Question number 1 from life processes. Now, life processes questions are very interesting because a lot of them are PYQs. So this right here is going to be super duper interesting. So let's have a look at the first question. Which among the following statements about autotrophs are incorrect? So 4 statements are given to us from which we need to identify which is incorrect. They synthesize carbohydrates from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. They store carbohydrates in the form of starch. They convert carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates in the absence of sunlight, or they constitute the first trophic level in the food chain. Very simple and easy, right? Super simple question. Who is this having parallel conversations? Do you guys want to be blocked? No, na? Very good. The incorrect statement is of course nothing but option C, right? Because we know that carbohydrates cannot be formed in the absence of sunlight, which is why the correct answer is option C. So let me quickly change the size. Yes. Very good, all of you. Very, very good. See, even desert plants it is not that it happens in the absence, right? The splitting of water takes place in the presence of sunlight only. But just that the way synthesis of carbohydrates happens is quite later on. Which is why in desert plants also it still happens in the presence of sunlight. Just that in desert plants, the order is different. Moving on, let's go on to question number 2. How many of you have solved the sample paper? Sample paper this question was given in a different form, and this was the first MCQ in your biology part. In the following groups of organisms, food material is broken down outside the body, right? And then it is absorbed. Which among the following groups represents that? See, the same question, they have twisted it and they have given to you in your sample paper. So now you know that this is something that you have to pay attention to. Yes, very good, all of you. Very, very good. So now, of course, organisms that break food material outside their body are nothing but they are saprotrophs, right? So saprotrophs are the ones which do this, that break down the dead and decaying matter outside their body and then they absorb it. Now, in every other case, if you see, green plants prepare their own food and amoeba does holozoic mode of nutrition. What is holozoic mode? Holozoic mode is when the food is ingested and broken down internally. Hence, we see that in this case, A is incorrect, C is also incorrect because here we have Paramecium, amoeba, Cuscuta exhibiting parasitic mode, Cuscuta, lice, tapeworm all exhibiting parasitic mode, right? Which is why correct answer here is option B, yeast, mushroom and bread mold. So this is the correct answer. Now let's move on to the question number 3. Select the correct statement regarding heterotrophs. Option A says that heterotrophs do not synthesize their own food. Heterotrophs use solar energy for photosynthesis. Heterotrophs synthesize their own food. Heterotrophs are capable of converting carbon dioxide. Very easy, no? Very, very simple and easy. Just 1 minute. Simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy question, right? So we know that in this particular case, what do we observe? Correct statement is option A. Everything else is incorrect, right? Because heterotrophs are a group of organisms that cannot produce their own food and they're dependent on other organisms for food. Very good, Bishnu, very, very good. Moving on to question number 4. So this is a sequence-based question, right? Sequence-based question where you need to tell me which is the correct sequence of paths in the human alimentary canal. Yes, amazing. We have reached our like target also. Super proud. Okay. So correct sequence of paths in the human alimentary canal. Now this is something that we will normally find as a question that we see in our board exams. So you will have to represent it. Yes. So we know that in this case, in the human alimentary canal, it starts with the mouth, then it's the esophagus, then moves on to the stomach, then small intestine, and then last we have large intestine. So which is the correct sequence that represents this? See, A and C you can eliminate, which is mouth and stomach. Now you are left with mouth, esophagus, small intestine, large, nahi. So answer is option D, which has the correct sequence as we have just discussed. Very good. Now moving on to question number 5, students, on your screen. Easy peasy questions, all of them are. Now I know you are feeling confident. आराम से you are feeling confident. ये UT में आया था. I am telling you, even the exams that you are about to have in your pre-boards 2, 3, whatever is going to come, you are going to find these questions. So that is why I guarantee to you that this practice will help you on the long run. Yes? Okay. Next up, if salivary amylase is lacking in saliva, which of the following events in the mouth cavity will be affected? Now can you tell me, what is the role of salivary amylase? Yes? What is the role of salivary amylase? The main function of salivary amylase is to act on starch, break it down into simple components, right? So when this is broken down, if say salivary amylase is not there, which function will get affected? It will be option B, where starch is broken down into sugars. So correct answer is option B. Now I will remind you and tell you one more thing. Another way in which this question can come, another way in which they can ask you this question will be based on the experiment that is there with chewed rice and starch water, and they'll do that iodine experiment with and without salivary amylase, right? So you will have to remember this. Little star, why not proteins? Because you're talking about if salivary amylase is not there in saliva. So here saliva mein there are no protein digesting enzymes which are produced, right? We only have salivary amylase that acts on starch. Hence in this case answer is going to be option B. Next up is easy peasy question. The inner lining of the stomach is protected by one of the following from hydrochloric acid. What protects it? Yes? Ma'am, grains or gram wala question also. Yeah, that one for respiration will come. For respiration, that can come for sure. Very good. We know that mucus or the inner lining of the stomach produces mucus that protects itself from the hydrochloric acid or action of hydrochloric acid. Super. Now let's go on to question number 7. This is also direct. Which part of the alimentary canal receives bile juice from the liver? Which part of it receives bile juice from the liver? So we know that this is the stomach, we have the liver here, right? Then we have the gallbladder, and we see that they all pour in their secretions to the initial part of the small intestine. So correct answer is option B. Very good. I can see you are having an own competition. Like, ma'am, to stay awake, we will we will have this competition. Good, good. But in that sense, don't go wrong here and there. See, this was the question I was telling you about. A few drops of iodine solution was added to rice water. The solution turned blue-black in color. This indicates what? That complex proteins are there, simple proteins are there, fats are there, or starch is there. What does this indicate? So we know that if iodine is added to rice water, yes, so what do we see? Iodine is added to rice water, and we see that it turned blue-black. Now this blue-black reaction will happen if starch is present, right? So that presence of blue-black color indicates the presence of starch. So correct answer is option D. Super easy, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Next up is also very simple. Which of the following or in which part of the alimentary canal is the food finally digested, or is it completely digested? Ma'am, yeah, I know, it's very easy. In the sense, some of the questions are easy, okay? Some are a little bit you have to think. Simple. Complete digestion of food takes place where? It takes place in the small intestine, which is why correct answer is option D. Very good. Now let's move on to question number 10. 10, read the options carefully. Okay? Choose the correct functions of pancreatic juice from the following. So let me move it a little bit. Awesome. So you have to choose the function of pancreatic juice, right? So trypsin digests proteins and lipase, Trypsin digests proteins, lipase carbohydrate, trypsin digests emulsified fat and lipase protein, trypsin and lipase both digest fats, and trypsin digests protein and lipase digests emulsified fats. Very good. Your pancreatic juice, right, as you give me the answer, your pancreatic juice has pancreatic amylase. Now this is not there in the textbook, but I'm still telling you. It has pancreatic amylase, it has trypsin, and it produces pancreatic lipase also, right? Now see, pepsin, trypsin, later on in your higher grades, you will learn about something called as erepsin. You have all these things, right? When the epsin comes, think of it as protein. Okay? That is one way in which I remember. So whenever you have pepsin, trypsin and all of that, it is protein. Which is why here, trypsin digests protein. Lipase, think of it at always that it will act on fat, right? So it will act on emulsified fats. So correct answer is option D. Now next question is activity based, right? Next question is activity based. I hope that my speed is okay. I hope I'm not going too fast also. If I'm going fast, you tell me, right? Tell me if I'm going too fast. Question number 11. When air is blown from the mouth into a test tube containing lime water, we see that it turns milky, right? Now this is due to the presence of what? Yes, ma'am, it's okay. Oh, you're saying go fast. No, my perfect speed. Okay, thank you, Novya. Fine, yes, ma'am, it's all right. Okay, thank you. Because I'm not used to teaching this fast also, right? Awesome. So air is blown into the mouth. So basically you blow air from the mouth into the test tube containing lime water. So when lime water, so basically here exhaled air, something in exhaled air is reacting with lime water, which is CaOH twice, right? So in exhaled air, what do we have? Carbon dioxide. So when it reacts with calcium hydroxide, what do we get? We get CaCO3, that is insoluble in water. That is what comes out as a milky substance. So in this particular case, answer is option B. Very good, all of you. Very, very good. Moving on, let's go on to question number 12. Now, take your time and give me the answer. What is the correct sequence of anaerobic reactions in yeast? Now, these are possible questions you can get in your exam, right? This is very, very important. Yes, so please look at the options carefully and tell me what is the answer. Now again, remember that 3-mark questions can be asked on the respiration types, right? So that flowchart is also important. Okay, very good. Bye-bye, Sakshi. See you soon. Take care. Come back and watch the remaining video. Anaerobic. I have highlighted the keywords. So I have competition between A and D. Where will anaerobic respiration take place? Will it happen in the mitochondria? No problem, little star. Come back and watch. Come back and just one thing, please come back. Don't be like, ma'am, I'm going, bye-bye. As in, watch later. Now everybody is giving me the answer. Very good. Answer is option D. Why? Because in anaerobic reactions, we know that, see, if mitochondria is involved, complete breakdown of glucose will take place. But in anaerobic respiration, what do we know? It is partial breakdown. So let's say glucose gets converted to pyruvate. Pyruvate is then broken down and we get ethanol and carbon dioxide. So lactic acid is not your byproduct, so you can, eliminate these two. But what are you left with? A and D. Now here in A and D, it is mitochondria, cytoplasm. Anaerobic respiration mein, there is no oxygen. So in that case, what is the case? Answer is D, right? हम आपका syllabus पूरा करेंगे क्या? पूरा हो जाएगा. Next up, we have question number 13, everybody. Question number 13 is based on which is the most appropriate for aerobic respiration. Now, focus. Focus and give me the answer because this is very, very interesting. Ninni, in the previous one, if it is anaerobic respiration, it will not happen in the, basically oxygen is not there, it's happening in the absence of oxygen. And that breakdown will not happen inside the mitochondria, but it will happen inside the cytoplasm, right? Okay. I knew this. I know that the competition is happening between two options, and this goes to show that textbook mein we have not seen that flowchart clearly. Ma'am, D hai. Ma'am, aap daily online classes kab aate ho? I come every Wednesday. And sometimes I come on Thursdays. So Thursday I have like a 1 hour gap in between where I take some, strategy class and all that. D 100% pakka. Okay, let's have a look. Option A says that there is glucose getting broken down or getting broken down to form a 3-carbon pyruvate in the mitochondria. No, that does not happen. B says glucose is broken down, 6-carbon glucose is broken down into 3-carbon pyruvate, and then this pyruvate is entirely broken down inside the mitochondria to give carbon dioxide, water and energy. Let's keep this on hold. Glucose, which is a 6-carbon compound, broken down into pyruvate plus energy, right? Or pyruvate and energy is released along with it. Then this pyruvate is further broken down and only giving us carbon dioxide and water. No. So C is also incorrect. Now leaving me with option D, which is glucose, which is a 6-carbon compound, broken down into a 3-carbon pyruvate. Some amount of energy gets released, but complete breakdown of it takes place inside the mitochondria. So in this case, what would be the answer? Those of you who are giving me the answer as B is incorrect. B is incorrect. See, as per NCERT, ma'am, B is right. No. As per NCERT, this I will show you because this flowchart sometimes we tend to make mistakes. See, you have a look at your textbook. I know this flowchart is very important and this question is also super important, which is why I am taking my time with this question. Let's go to chapter 5. Can you see my screen? I'll use this flowchart and Can you see this now? Are you all able to see? This is your NCERT textbook, right? Now, as per your NCERT textbook, what do you see right here? Ma'am, aapka typing bahut fast hai. Thanks. Now see this. Now I cannot use my page marker here, right? Because this is a downloaded one. But look at the reaction in the first. Look at the whole reaction. So here, 6-carbon molecule of glucose is broken down in the cytoplasm to get pyruvate. Now this right here, ma'am, turn it into white. Okay, 6-carbon glucose is broken down into pyruvate, right? Which is a 3-carbon molecule. But what is it giving you? It is also giving you energy, right? Aren't you all able to see the energy getting produced? So here energy is also released. But in the presence of oxygen in the mitochondria, complete breakdown takes place, giving you carbon dioxide, water and energy. Which is why when you go to this case, the answer is D. It is not B, right? I knew they'll say, ma'am, NCERT pe to nahi hai, you are telling something. But no. See, the process of conversion of glucose into pyruvate is called as glycolysis, right? That's the process and you do get some amount of energy. But the amount of energy that gets released is, I think, 6 ATP or like 5 ATP. Not more than that. But later on, you get about 32 ATP that gets released at the end of complete breakdown. So you see that in this particular case, the correct answer is option D. Yes, you have Krebs cycle, electron transport chain. Ma'am, ये किसके reaction होते हैं? This is aerobic respiration. 11th में if you take bio, you have it waiting for you. Respiration का पूरा chapter में all this will be there, right? Okay, very good. Good Subhash, very good Vishnu. See, it is simple. This is they are asking you what is aerobic respiration ka reaction, right? So here what do we see? Glucose is converted to 3-carbon pyruvate. But we think that energy is not released. That is a misconception. When glucose is broken down into pyruvate, some amount of energy gets released, right? Some amount of energy does get released. But then when this pyruvate is then taken to the mitochondria, their complete breakdown happens and we see that we get whatever end amount of energy, right? Okay. With this, let us move on to question number 14. Okay. This is also a good question. Which of the following statements is or are, actually no, it's very easy. Which among the following statements is or are true about respiration? During inhalation, the ribs move inwards and the diaphragm is raised. In the alveoli, exchange of gases takes place, wherein oxygen from alveolar air diffuses into blood and carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses into alveoli air, right? Then of course, hemoglobin has greater affinity for carbon dioxide than oxygen. Alveoli increases surface area. Yes? Cool. I mean, I'll try my best to be as fast as possible. Otherwise, come and watch the video. No problem. Okay. This is easy. During inhalation, when you inhale, what happens? Your ribs move outwards and diaphragm moves downwards. So this is incorrect. During gaseous exchange, what do we see? During gaseous exchange, we see that oxygen goes from alveoli to blood, carbon dioxide goes from blood to alveoli. This is true. Hemoglobin has greater affinity for carbon dioxide than oxygen. No, that is not the case, right? Carbon dioxide is normally transported in dissolved form because it's easily soluble. But hemoglobin has more amount of affinity to oxygen. It is there in your NCERT. So this is also not true. Alveoli increase surface area. Yes, they do, right? So in this case, 2 and 4 is the correct answer. So answer is option D. Very simple and easy. So you just need to read through the statements. Now question number 5 is Chunnamunnu question, right? Chunnamunnu. So in this particular case, what do we see? We see that which among the following which is the correct sequence of air passage during inhalation? Yes? Yeah, carbon monoxide has maximum affinity. It does. It is correct. That sequence is correct. Okay, very good. Ma'am, today also it will go on till 11:30. I'll try my best to wind it up as soon as possible, right? So here answer is D. Because nostrils say pharynx tak, pharynx say larynx, larynx to trachea, trachea to alveoli. So correct answer is option D. Very easy. Now we will move on to the next one, right? Question number 16. During respiration, what do we see? During respiration, exchange of gases takes place where? Trachea and larynx. Is it alveoli of lungs, alveoli and throat, or throat and larynx? What is alveoli? Alveoli are those air sac-like structures, right? So we see that they look like grapefruits. So their alveoli are those air sac-like structures which are found in the lungs that help with gaseous exchange. So correct answer is option B. Very good. Let's move on to question number 17. Oh, question number 17 is a big story, but it's aaram se padna, aaram se you read it and give me the answer to this, right? Patiently read it. One by one we will do true and false and we will go ahead, right? Okay. Ma'am, difference between larynx and pharynx. Pharynx is the common opening for both food and air. Larynx is your voice box, right? Now, left atrium receives oxygenated blood from different parts of the body. No, wrong. There only you can stop. It does not receive it from different parts. It is from from the lungs, right? Your left atrium. Left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood to different parts of the body, okay? While right ventricle pumps deoxygenated blood to lungs. True. Yes? So when in doubt, please draw the box left. Oops. So here we have right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle, draw it and go, right? So this is wrong, this is true. Left atrium transfers oxygenated blood to right ventricle. No, it doesn't do that at all. So this is false. Right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from different parts, okay? While left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood to different parts. Simple, right? So in this case, this is also true. So 2 and 4 are the correct statements which are true about the heart. Which is why in this case, what do we see? Correct answer is option C. That suggests that both 2 and 4 are the correct statements. Very good. Yes. Ma'am, how much more time? Anviti, you have dinner now only. Side by side, you watch my class and keep having dinner. I would recommend that. What prevents backflow of blood inside the heart during contraction? Yes? So basically, what prevents the backflow of blood inside the heart? Now we know that whether it's in the heart, whether it's in the whether it's in the veins, we know that the structure is all the same, which is nothing but valves. But we have different kinds of valves, right? The valves that we find in the veins are not exactly same as the ones that we find in the heart. In the heart, we find different types, like tricuspid, bicuspid, so many types are there. But simply to know, backflow means vein, right? Good. 18 ka is answer A. Now I have a very good question. Very, very amazing question. Single circulation. Okay, this is very interesting. I loved this question when I was prepping for the class. I really loved it. Single circulation, that is blood, flows only through the heart once during one cycle of passage through the body. This is exhibited in which organism, right? This is exhibited in which organism? You have 4 options. Now, before you give me the answer, single circulation is seen in which organism? Can you tell me in general? Do we see it in... So, the options that you have are the things that you've learned about, right? We have learned about... Okay, very good. I can see the answers coming. Ma'am, it will disturb my concentration level. Oh, Anviti, I agree with you. Okay, you go back, have dinner and come back and watch the video later. No problem. Put it in 2x speed and watch it. See, septum is basically a structure that divides the heart into right and left. What is valve? Prevents the backflow. Yes? Ma'am, aapke liye to sara questions hi good. What to do? Ma'am, I don't know. Okay. It's simple. Single circulation is seen in fishes, right? Because you know that in the case of fishes, what will happen? In the case of fishes, if you've seen, from the gills, oxygenated blood is transported to different parts. It is collected and basically the heart receives deoxygenated blood. Then it is sent to the gills for oxygenation and then it will do one full circulation. So here what do we see? Blood is going through the heart only once. So hence single circulation. Now in everything else, whether it be reptile, amphibia and all of that, we see that the blood goes twice. Okay, it's not single. The different thing that the blood is not entirely differentiated as oxygenated and deoxygenated. You see that mixed blood is there. Now, whale, dolphin, turtle and all. No, whale, dolphin, all of them come under the category of mammals. Now, most mammals tend to have or exhibit double circulation. So, this is not the case. Now, you have chameleon, salamander, they are all reptiles. So again, you will not see single circulation in them, right? Now what are you left with? You're left with hippocampus, exocetus, anabas. Then you have hyla, rana and draco. Now see, rana, if you remember, frogs ka scientific name is Rana tigris, right? So frogs ka scientific name is Rana tigris. So that is one type of, one type of frog species that are there. So these are all mainly amphibians. Now, hippocampus. Hippocampus is actually another name for seahorse, or seahorses come under this category, right? So, hippocampus, there's a structure in our body also, but mainly it comes under the category of seahorses, which is why in this case the correct answer is option B, right? Correct answer here is option B. I know they. Ma'am, photosynthesis ka reaction batana. I have a question. Ma'am, who made these scientific names? Started with Carolus Linnaeus and then went on and on, right? Ma'am, out of syllabus. If this comes in board exam, you can't say out of syllabus. This is an inference-based question. Ma'am, why not D? These are all mammals. Mammal hai ye. So if they have lungs, they have, their heart structure is also all pretty similar, right? ठीक है. Moving on to question number 20. Yes, question number 20, all of you. So they all come under the same category, Ayushman. They all come under the same category. Okay? We'll finish life process. We'll finish life process soon. Ho gaya. Done. Very quickly we'll finish. In which of the following vertebrate group or groups does the heart does not pump oxygenated blood to different parts of the body? So basically same as what I have explained earlier, right? Okay. See, somebody is telling, ma'am, I did not understand what you taught. If you have not understood what you taught, don't be mean to me. Just tell me what you did not understand. I always tell you that. So basically, this is just what I explained to you. Which organism may the heart does not pump oxygenated blood? Now I told you, right? I told you that in the case of fishes, the gills may oxygenation will happen, then it will transport it to different parts, it will collect the deoxygenated blood and then take it to the heart. Now heart will pump deoxygenated blood to the gills, right? So in this case, what do we see? Is it both in amphibians? No, it is only in Pisces, right? Or in fishes alone. So answer here will be fishes alone. Yes? Are we clear? Answer is option D. Yes or no? Are you all with me? Or have you all given up saying, ma'am, nahi ho raha hai? Are we clear? Why not A? Because see, in amphibians, the heart, see basically what are they saying? Is the heart receiving oxygenated blood and then pumping it, right? So that is what they are asking. So basically, in the case of which animal does the heart not receive oxygenated blood? In fishes, they will not receive oxygenated blood. While on the other kind, in the other cases, amphibians, reptiles and all of that, we see that they do receive oxygenated, but they also receive deoxygenated as well, right? So the correct answer is D. So here students, again, I will go back to the chapter. See, this is the part that I am trying to explain to all of you, right? This is one small portion that is mentioned. Okay. See here, all of you pay attention. Fishes, on the other hand, have only two chambers and the blood is pumped to the gills where oxygenation happens and directly to the rest of the body. And along with this, what do we see? The blood grows only through the heart during the cycle once, and we see that they receive deoxygenated. Heart receives deoxygenated blood. But unlike amphibians or reptiles, they can tolerate, that means the heart pumps oxygenated as well as deoxygenated, right? So that is what you need to understand. Okay? Okay. Now let's move on to question number 21. I hope we are clear. Question number 21, everybody, which is going to be based on the statements related to arteries, right? Anuj, I have a question for photosynthesis. I am waiting for that. I am waiting to explain because it makes it easier. Otherwise, I'll be digressing, no? I don't want to digress. Okay. No. Very quickly, everybody, give me the answer. Okay, very good, very good. See, in this case, what is the answer? Imagination dominance. If you are not able to understand, you can leave the class. Nobody is forcing you to be here. But if you are not able to understand something, you tell me what is it that you are not understanding. See, arteries have thick elastic walls that flow under high blood pressure. Okay, yes, but they collect blood from different organs. Nahin, na? They don't collect blood from different organs, but they are responsible for pumping the blood away from the heart. Arteries are blood vessels that take blood away from the heart, which is why what do we see? This is incorrect. Taking blood from different organs is the job of veins. Yes, they have thin walls. No. Eliminate that. They have elastic walls, okay. But blood flows under low pressure. Nahin, na? They flow under high pressure. So here this is also wrong. So which is the correct statement? It is this. What are arteries? Arteries are blood vessels that have thick elastic walls, right? without valves. So they have no valves. And what do we see? The blood flows under high pressure and they carry the blood away from the heart to different parts of the body. Exception being pulmonary artery. But here pulmonary artery also, right, does not have valves, it doesn't flow with high pressure, and we also see that it takes it away from the heart. Soumya, I'm so sorry. You asked me if photosynthesis is endothermic. It is endothermic because it does not give out any heat energy, right? So it is endothermic. ठीक है. Arey Ritika, please study for your exam tomorrow. Please explain about blood vessel in brief. See, blood vessels transport blood to different parts. Veins collect blood from different parts of the body, take it to the heart. Arteries take it away from the heart. Flows in high pressure. Here it's low pressure. Okay. I don't feel, Ashvi, truly, because of all the adrenaline, I'm not able to feel it, but I'm sure it's going to be okay. Question number 22, students. The filtration units of kidneys are called as dash. Easy peasy, chunnamunnu question, right? And Soumya, sorry, it took me some time to give you the answer, so really sorry about that. Ureter, urethra, neuron, nephron. See, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Samajh aaya hai? Oh, thank God. Very good. Filtration unit of kidney is nothing but nephrons, right? Very good. Next up, question number 23. Oxygen liberated during photosynthesis. Now for Anuj who was asking me about this, no? Oxygen liberated during photosynthesis comes from where? Which means you need to know the steps of photosynthesis. So first it is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll, right? Then it will use that sunlight energy to break down water molecules, right? That is called as photolysis. Now from there what do we see? We see that there is reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. But where does the oxygen come from? When that splitting of water molecules takes place, right? So we get the oxygen from water. Very, very important. Anuj, I hope I answered your question. I hope that is the question you asked me, right? Okay. ठीक है, very good. Photolysis is splitting of water molecules. Now, next question. Ma'am, what is the species problem? Dyuti, I think it was earlier, was species wala problem. Okay, the blood vessel leaving the tissue, right? So if this is the tissue, the blood vessel leaving it will become rich in what? We know that blood vessels that enter the tissue will be rich in oxygen, right? So we know that the tissues need oxygen, so they will utilize it. But what do they also give out? They also give out something which is carbon dioxide, exactly. So we see that the blood vessels leaving the tissue will become rich in carbon dioxide. So the correct answer is option A. Awesome. Now let's move on to question number 25. Last few questions. Which of the following is an incorrect statement? Organisms grow with time. Organisms must repair and maintain their structure. Movement of molecules does not take place between cells, or energy is essential for life processes. We are talking about a statement which is incorrect. Can you tell me? See, question number 24 is the blood that leaves the body, right? The blood that leaves the body . One second. Yeah. The blood that leaves the body, the blood that leaves the tissue, I mean, right? So basically it's collecting the carbon dioxide. That is why it will be rich in carbon dioxide. Very good. If what is incorrect? The fact that there is no movement of substances amongst cells. Yes? Okay. Now I'm going to pick up the pace. Okay. It's getting little. So I'll pick up the pace a little bit more so that we can solve our questions faster. Poonam Bacha, what is it that you did not understand? Okay, the internal cellular energy reserve. That means that basically how is food stored in autotrophs? In what form? Glycogen, protein, starch or fatty acid? I'll try my best to wind it up as soon as possible. I am trying. I think in control and coordination, let me quickly see. Yeah, we have a little bit more questions to solve. Awesome. We know that in the case of autotrophs, it is stored in the form of starch. Now let's move on. All of you, those are asking me about photosynthesis, right? Let's have a look at this question. Which of the following equations is the summary of photosynthesis? Yes? Ma'am, it is very hard. Kya hard hai, bacha? What is hard? See, 6CO2 plus 12H2O. This you forget. There's no carbon dioxide and sunlight, chlorophyll and sunlight mentioned in options A and B. Now in A they have mentioned. In C it says 6CO2 plus 12H2O giving chlorophyll. Okay. Giving you glucose, oxygen and water. D also looks similar. But this is wrong. Which is why answer is C. This is the balanced equation, right? So this right here is the balanced equation. Now let's move on to question number 28. Choose the event that does not occur in photosynthesis. Now these are with respect to the steps of photosynthesis, right? Okay Neha, see you. I will see you soon. Come back and watch the remaining, please. Okay. What are the different steps of photosynthesis? Or which among the following does not happen? Now I told you first one is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Then we know that that energy is utilized for breaking down of your water molecules by photolysis, right? Then of course we see that during this process there is conversion of light energy to chemical energy and there is reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates. But oxidation of carbon to carbon dioxide is something that does not happen, which is why correct answer here is option C. Very good. Super proud of all of you. Trust me, you have no idea how proud I am of all of you and the way you guys are solving these questions. Very, very proud. Jaldi say we will finish last 6 questions from life process. The opening and closing of stomatal pore depends upon what? Oxygen, temperature, water in guard cells or concentration of CO2. Yes? Yeah, I'll drink water. Opening and closing of stomatal pore. So opening of closing of stomatal pore depends on what? This right here is a 2-mark question also that you can get, right? So we know that this is due to the movement, the turgidity and the flaccidity. Why does turgidity, flaccidity happen? Due to movement of water. So correct answer here is option C, right? Now moving on to question number 30. So answer is water in guard cells, okay, or movement of water in guard cells. Question number 30 is, choose the forms in which plants absorb nitrogen. You have proteins, nitrates and nitrites, urea or atmospheric nitrogen. So how do they take up this nitrogen? Very quickly, you need to identify this. Now do they take it up as proteins? Not exactly. But they do take it up as nitrates and nitrites, right? So this is one way in which they take it. Urea is also one form because many fertilizers that are there are in the form of urea. So in this case, it will be 2 and 3. So it will be option B, right? So in this case, what do we see? Question number 30 ka answer is option B. Not atmospheric nitrogen because plants cannot utilize atmospheric nitrogen. They need it to be converted into a usable form. Yes, so answer is B. Okay? Now moving on to question number 31. Which among the following is the first enzyme to mix with food in the digestive tract? So which is the first enzyme that mixes with food in the digestive tract? Pepsin, cellulase, amylase or trypsin? Can you tell me what is the answer? Easy. The first enzyme is present in the saliva, which is salivary amylase. So answer is option C. Moving on to question number 32. This is again based on respiration. Which of the following statements is or are correct? So let's have a look. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Pyruvate can be converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide by yeast. Fermentation can take place in aerobic bacteria. It can take place in mitochondria. It is a form of anaerobic respiration. So we know that these two statements are definitely incorrect because fermentation is a type of anaerobic respiration, but not exactly. But wherein we know that it's something we observe in yeast, right? So we see that first statement and the fourth statement is correct. that it is a form of anaerobic respiration where we see that pyruvate or sugar can be converted into ethanol, give out carbon dioxide as a byproduct. So correct answer is option C. Very good, all of you, very good. Jaldi say, let us pick up the pace to question number 33. Lack of oxygen. Again, remember sample paper question on sportsman, right? Ye sportsman wala question. Lack of oxygen in muscles often lead to cramps amongst cricketers. You remember this? This results, or this is a result of what? Conversion to pyruvate to ethanol, pyruvate to glucose, non-conversion or conversion into lactic acid. Easy. We know that muscle cramps are due to the accumulation, right? It is due to the accumulation of lactic acid in the muscle cells. So hence the answer is option D. Very good. Ma'am, can I ask a doubt? It's very small. ठीक है, you ask. Choose the correct path of urine in our body. Second last question from life process. Okay. Easy. Path of urine. Ma'am, lactic acid is a 3-carbon molecule. Yes, it is a 3-carbon molecule. Ma'am, it is very easy. I know. Easy. See, kidney say, we have kidney. Kidney say ureter. No, not this. It's option C. Kidney say ureter. Ureter say urinary bladder. Urinary bladder say urethra. Right? So the correct sequence is option C. Very good. You may not get such easy questions, but it's good for practice. Last question from life processes. Let's go, right? Last question. During the deficiency of oxygen in tissues of human beings, pyruvic acid is converted to lactic acid where? Cytoplasm, chloroplast, mitochondria or Golgi body? Easy, easy, easy. Where does this happen? Yes, Neetu, send me your doubts. Do send me your doubts. Correct answer is option A, because we know that this is anaerobic respiration where there is formation of lactic acid. And where does this happen exactly? This right here happens in the cytoplasm. So correct answer is option A. See, exam may probably it is also the aura around exams. Most likely even those questions are easy. To be honest, when I solve your sample paper questions, I find it very easy because I don't have that aura of exam, right? Oh, this is a, CBSE paper. I don't have that kind of, in a sense, as a student, I don't have that feeling. As a teacher, I know how to go about it. But probably, in some cases, maybe the whole aura of an exam and boards tends to scare you a little bit more. So even if you know the answer, that feeling, right, of exam and all of that makes you a little more scary. Ma'am, you have more knowledge than us. Array, no, not like that. ठीक है. Now we are at 10:25. How about in the next 20 minutes we finish off life control coordination? Control coordination questions are very direct. We'll finish off our last leg. हो जाएगा. Are we ready? Are we ready? Is the Josh high? Hi Josh. I'm sure that we can do this, right? You've been with me for so long. You've been with me for so long and now is not the time to give up. Now is not the time for you to say, ma'am, I can't do it. If you've made it this far, this is the last leg of making sure that you feel confident, right? So trust me, pat yourself in the back, tell yourself that you are awesome, that you have solved so many questions. I could not be prouder than this, right? I know you guys are going to ace your exams and I know you will do it. So, we'll go to the last paper. Control coordination is very easy, I'm telling you. If you thought life process was easy, control coordination is easier. That's how easy it is. ठीक है. If you don't mind, can we keep the doubts towards the end of the class? We'll keep the doubts towards the end of the class today. Then I'll finish it at one go. Are we ready? Yeah, I have a cold. I'm still recovering, but it's okay. Cold and all will come and go. Shall we go? Shall we start? Our timer starts now, okay? Our aim is 10:45, okay? Question number 1, everybody. So here I'll just increase the font size so that you can see better. Ma'am, no, I think in bio, this is very simple. Ma'am, are exemplar questions enough for practice? No. Exemplar is one level of your practice because a lot of board exam questions comes from exemplar, but this alone is not enough. You need to practice BYQs also. Okay, Zaid asked me towards the end, which of the following statements is correct about receptors? So you have 4 statements given to you about gustatory, olfactory, auditory receptors. Now what are gustatory receptors? Let me just set the pen. Give me one moment, everyone. Give me the answers in the meanwhile. Okay. What are gustatory receptors? Gustatory receptors are those which are found in the tongue that help us with taste. What are olfactory? Olfactory receptors are those which we find in our nose, right? And they help us smell. Then we have auditory receptors which help us hear, right? So here, this is what will help us hear. Now, based on this, can both gustatory and olfactory detect smell? No. Olfactory can detect smell? No. Olfactory detects taste? No. Which means correct answer is option A, where gustatory receptors, they detect taste, while olfactory receptors detect smell, right? So the correct answer is option 1. Option A. Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 on your screens. The electrical impulse travels from where to where, right? So you have 4 options given to you from which you need to give me the correct answer. Very good, everybody. Very, very good, right? So in this case, as you can see, we know that nerve impulse, right? How does it travel? It travels from dendrite to cell body to axon to axonal end. So correct answer is option C. Yes? Oops. Okay. Awesome. Now let's move on to the next question, right? Question number 3, everyone. In a synapse, the chemical signal is transmitted from where to where? Yes? Can you tell me the chemical signal is transmitted from which part to which part? Now you have dendritic end of one neuron to axonal end of the other neuron. Axon, draw and see. Dendritic end of one neuron to axonal end. Ulta, no. This is not the case, right? Dendritic to axonal to nahi hoga. Axon to cell body, no, that is reverse direction. Cell body to axonal end, we're talking about a chemical signal, so no. Axonal end of one neuron to dendritic end, right? So in this case, the correct answer is option D. So just read it and try to visualize the parts of the neuron. This should be very simple, right? Okay, let's go on to question number 4. In a neuron, there is conversion of electrical signal to chemical signal, right? So we see that there is conversion of electrical signal to chemical signal. Now where will this happen? Will it happen inside the cell body? Yes. Will it happen inside the cell body, which will happen at the axonal end, or will it happen at the dendritic end, or will it happen at the axon? What do you think is going to be the answer to this? See, neuron, okay? Now you have, this is your structure. Where is your electrical signal becoming chemical? It will happen at the synaptic end, right? And that starts at the axonal end. Not cell body, not dendrite, not axon. So answer here is B. Axon nahi hai. This is the axon. This is axon. Okay, let's make this easy. This is your neuron. You all agree with me? This is the dendrite of the next neuron, right? Okay. Now, what are they asking? Where does the electrical signal become into a chemical signal, right? So here, what do you see? This is happening here. This is the axon, right? This is the axon. This is where your electrical signal, imagine if this is your electrical signal, your electrical impulse has come here, reached axonal end. Now inside the axonal end, there are some chemicals which get released. What are these chemicals called as? We call this as neurotransmitters, right? So those are the chemicals which get released, which is found in the axonal, or which is released by the axonal end. See, if it was only where through which part does the electrical signal flow through, then all options are correct, because even through your cell body, all of that, your electrical signal is there. But if it is converted, that conversion is happening at the synapse, right? So that is what you need to understand. Keep this very simple. See, I'll tell you very easily. The thing that you need to remember is, if it is an electric signal, it is throughout the neuron. But if the concept of chemical signal comes, then it is at the junction, it is at the synapse. Keep it clear. Synapse mein chemicals can move. Electricity or electric signal cannot move. Where will electric signal move? Through the neuron body. But wo gap mein wo nahi move karega. Okay? That is all you need to know. Yes? Simple way to recall. Not the way to study, but this is a way to recall. Right? Next up. This is the correct sequence of components of a reflex arc, right? So you have 4 options given to you, from which you need to tell me which is the correct answer. Yes? Okay. Everybody, quickly, can you tell me? Very good, all of you. Very, very good, right? So we're talking about sequence in a reflex arc. That means it starts with a receptor, goes to sensory neuron, then the CNS, in this case spinal cord, followed by motor neuron, and then it ends with the effector, right? So in this case, what do we see? Correct answer is option D, right? Very simple, easy. Now, don't complicate it too much, okay? Yes. Now moving on, let's have a look at the next question, right? So let's have a look at the next question where we have statements given to us. So which among the following statements are true? Sudden action in response to something in the environment is called as a reflex action. Sensory neurons carry signals from spinal cord to muscles. Motor neuron carries signal from receptor to spinal cord, or the path through which the signals are transmitted from receptor to a muscle or a gland is what we call as reflex arc. So which among the following statements is or are true? So take it step by step and then give me the answer, right? This should be a take it step by step. Many of you are telling me, ma'am, it should be option C. Okay, very good. I can see the answers coming. हो जाएगा, by 10:45 हो जाएगा. Don't worry. See, what is a reflex action? A reflex action is a response, is a sudden response or an immediate response to something in our environment, right? So this particular statement is true. Now they are saying that sensory neuron carries signal from spinal cord to muscle. Now, if this is your spinal cord, right? Sensory neuron is responsible for carrying information from sense organ, right? All the way to spinal cord. And motor neuron is what will carry information from spinal cord all the way to your muscles. So these two statements are incorrect. The path through which the signal is transmitted from receptor to gland is what you call as reflex arc. Yes, it is quick transmission, right? So correct answer is option C. Very good. Let's move on to question number 7, everybody. Which among the following statements are true about the brain? The main thinking part of the brain is called as hindbrain. Centers of hearing, smell, memory is located in forebrain. Involuntary actions are controlled by medulla in the hindbrain. Cerebellum does not control the posture and balance of the body. Yes? Okay. I know, right, Ritika? It's so true. Salivating is production of saliva. When you see pizza, what do you feel like it? Excess saliva comes, no, that's salivating. Okay. See, main thinking part is hindbrain. Nay, it is forebrain, right? So the forebrain that is there is, that is the main thinking part. So this is incorrect. Centers of sight, memory and all of that is located in forebrain. True, it is located in the forebrain. Involuntary actions like salivation, vomiting is controlled by medulla. Yes. Where is the medulla located? In the hindbrain. So this is also true. But can I say that the cerebellum does not control body balance and posture? This is false, right? It does control body balance and posture, which is why in this case 2 and 3 are correct. So correct answer here is option C. Very good. So with that, question number 8 also becomes on the way, right? It's very related to the previous one. Nirmala, if you want me to call your name, there are better ways. You can just say, ma'am, call my name. But why would you want to say this? Yes, Pranjal, I will answer your questions, but let's go. So here posture, right? So when we talk about posture and balance of the body, we know that this is controlled by which part? This is controlled by cerebellum, which maintains our body balance and posture. Very good. Now next up, spinal cord originates from which part of the body, right? Spinal cord originates from cerebrum. Does it originate from medulla? Does it originate from pons? Or does it originate from cerebellum? So which part does the spinal cord originate from? Very good, right? Very, very good. In this case, answer is option B. Awesome. Now moving on, let's go on to question number just one sec. Yeah. Let's go on to the next question, everybody. Question number 10 and 11. The movement of shoot towards the light, right? So movement of a shoot towards the light is called as dash. What is it called as? Geotropism, hydro, chemo, or phototropism? Simple, right? So we know that in this particular case, the correct answer is nothing but option D, phototropism, because that is what we say is in response to light. The main function of abscisic acid in plants. What is the main function of abscisic acid? We know that abscisic acid is a stress hormone, right? So we know that this right here is a stress hormone which is produced in plants. And what do? They inhibit the growth. So these are growth inhibitors. Well done. Super proud. Now let's move on to question number 12. Question number 12, everybody. Which of the following, repeat question from the previous, right? Which of the following is not associated with growth? That means which plant hormone is not associated with growth or is responsible for inhibiting growth? Same. It is the same answer as previous, which is abscisic acid. Now you have another question where iodine is necessary for the synthesis of which hormone? I told you, control coordination questions are very easy. Why is it called as stress hormone? Because it is produced when the plant is not having favorable conditions, right? So that is why we call it as a stress hormone. Example of chemotropism, growth of pollen tube. Answer is B, which is thyroxine. Now we will move on to question number 14. Choose the incorrect statement about insulin, right? It is produced from pancreas. It regulates growth and development of the body. It regulates blood sugar levels. And insufficient secretion of insulin will cause diabetes. Anish Bacha, chemotropism is growth of pollen tube, right? Okay. Simple. Incorrect statement about insulin. We know that insulin is produced by pancreas. It regulates blood sugar levels. Then we know that insufficient secretion of insulin will cause a condition called as diabetes. So all these statements are true. But to say that it regulates growth and development of the body is incorrect. So correct answer is option D. Pranjal and Zaid, you can ask me your doubts. No problem. Next up, we have to select the mismatched pair. You have adrenaline, pituitary gland, testosterone, testes, estrogen, ovary, thyroxine, thyroid. Which is the incorrect statement? Name of male hormone. Testosterone. Testosterone is the male hormone. Very good. Adrenaline is produced by the adrenal gland, and of course the growth hormone and various other hormones are produced by pituitary gland. Very good. Next up is a very similar question that we just dealt with, right? Yes, no, I have not forgotten you, Anviti. I'm glad you're back. Ma'am, difference between reflex action, I'll take that question now. I'll finish this and I'll take that, okay, Zed? The shape of guard cells changes due to what? We have already discussed this part. Protein composition, temperature of cells, amount of water, or position of nucleus. Easy. It is amount of water cells. So we discussed this in live process also. Quickly for Z, reflex action is the action you do. So if I touch something hot or I prick my hand, then me withdrawing my hand, that is an action. What is reflex arc? Reflex arc is the pathway taken by the impulse in my body. The electrical signals or what is happening within my body, that is what we call as reflex arc. So I hope I've clarified your doubt. Okay. Now moving on to question number 17. The growth of tendril in pea plants is due to what? Is it because of effect of light? No. Is it effect of gravity? No. Now you are left with these two. Rapid cell division in tendrilar cells that are away from the support, or is it in contact with the support, right? What is it in this case? Because here is where you will make mistakes. The work is, or the growth of tendrilar cells is very similar to that of how your auxin works in the presence of light, right? See, in this particular case, when it grows, the cells will grow away from the contact. They grow away from the contact, and as they accumulate here, they'll keep moving forward, right? So here, as you see, rapid cell division in contact is not going to be the case. So answer is option C. So remember this. This and auxin wala bit is important for all of you, right? This is very, very important. Now moving on to question number 18. Growth of pollen tubes towards the ovule is because of what? Hydrotropism, chemotropism, geotropism, or phototropism. Now this is very simple for us. I just told you. It is in response to a chemical, right? So in this case, the answer is going to be option B, chemotropism. Very good. Question number 18, everyone. Again, direct. Movement of sunflower in accordance to the path of the sun is an example of what? Photo, geo, chemo, hydro. You're talking about path of sun in response to a stimulus, which is light. Hence, what is the answer? Very easy. It is phototropism. But quickly to tell you one thing, it is not exactly phototropism, but it is a kind of phototrophic movement called as heliotropism. Yes? Next up, the substance that triggers the fall of mature leaves and fruits from plants. Falling, that is abscission, right? Or let's say senescence, aging. So in this case, what do we see? What is the hormone that is responsible for that? Hormone responsible for aging. What would it be? It's not promoting growth. So it has to be abscisic acid. So correct answer is option C. Taking all your doubts towards the end of the class, if you don't mind. Now we have 4 statements given to us, which is based on transmission of nerve impulse. Now what you need to do is to tell me which is incorrect. Now they're saying that nerve impulse travels from dendritic end to axonal end. Now here they're saying that the electric impulse. So if this is my chuntusa axon, they're saying that the impulse or the electric impulse is going from dendrite to axonal end, which is true. At the dendritic end, what do we see? At the dendritic end, electric impulses bring about the release of some chemicals which generate the electric impulse at the axonal end at the neuron. Okay, let's hold that statement. Chemicals released from axonal end of one neuron crosses at the synapse and generates a similar one. This is also true. Neurons' electrical impulse can be transmitted not only from one neuron to the next, but also from muscle to gland also. So in this case, what do you think it would be the answer? What would be the answer for this? Is it C? C is telling that at the axonal end of one neuron, we see that the chemicals can be released which can cross the synapse. I told you, chemicals, synapse will happen, right? At the synapse level, that is where your chemicals will cross. So this statement is actually true. This is also true. Electrical impulse need not be between two neurons, but it will be between, either it could be between two neurons, or it could be between a neuron and a muscle or a gland, which is what we call as neuromuscular junction. So in this case, this is the correct answer. See, this is telling that if this is my neuron, my electric impulse will travel in this direction. Correct. This is telling that once my impulse reaches my axonal end, if it has to go to my next neuron, right? It's telling that if it has to go to my next neuron, only some chemicals, if they are synthesized, right? Only my chemicals can pass through here. That is also correct. Then what is this telling? See, it need not be between two neurons. It could be between neuron and a muscle also. That is why the incorrect statement is option B. Yes? Option B is the answer. You can come back and read it once again in case if you are getting confused. Yes? Moving on everybody to question number 22. Yes? Question number 22. Involuntary actions in our body are controlled by what? Medulla in forebrain, medulla in midbrain, medulla in hindbrain, or spinal cord. Where do we find the medulla structure? We find medulla as a part of our hindbrain, which is why the correct answer is option C. Now next up, which among the following is not an involuntary function? Vomiting, salivation, heartbeat, chewing. Which of it is not an involuntary function? That means which of this is something that I can control? Vomiting is not something I can control, right? If it is unbearable, I will of course not be able to control. Same goes for salivation and heartbeat. But chewing of food, that depends upon how much I chew. If I want to chew 32 times or if I want to chew just kachak kachak and then swallow, that is dependent on me. So answer here is D. Now, when a person is suffering from cold, like me, he or she cannot do what? Differentiate the taste of an apple from that of an ice cream, differentiate smell of perfume and agarbatti, differentiate red light and green light, or differentiate hot and cold object. Now, when a person is suffering from severe cold, which receptor gets blocked? The olfactory receptors get affected, right? So when the olfactory receptors get affected, my ability to smell things around me will I'll not be able to smell. So primarily what will happen? I will not be able to differentiate between the smell of a perfume with that of an agarbatti. Nothing is going to happen to my sight or my ability to touch. But in some extensive cases, even taste can get affected. And I'll tell you, there's a very interesting short that I've made on this, so stay tuned for that. Yes, but primarily what gets affected, Ayushman? First is our ability to smell, na? So that is why answer is option B. Yes? Okay. Now moving on to question number 25. Last few questions. I think last page. Okay, this I need to reduce the size. Okay. Which of the following images represents the correct flow or the correct flow of impulse? Yes? I wish my Nirmala Bacha, see, at this point I am too tired to deal with your comments. If you have something to say, you tell me. Otherwise, you pay attention and give me answers. Right? Okay. See, in this particular case, what do we observe? Let me resize it a little. Oh, I can't. It's okay. Now look at the direction. Always flow of impulse should happen from dendrite to axon to dendrite, right? So based on this, what do we see? Here it's going in from axon to dendrite. No. Here some ulat-pulat direction. Here it's also going axon to dendrite. So no. Now what do we see here? We see that it is going from dendrite to axon to dendrite to axon. So C is correct. Here neurons are only arranged horribly. So this is also not correct. So in this case, what do we see? Correct answer is option C. Why is sexual reproduction better than asexual reproduction? Because in sexual reproduction, variation happens more, thereby what do we see? In more cases, they are able to survive. Okay, next up, which among the following statements is not true for thyroxine? We're talking about which is not true for thyroxine. Iron is essential for the synthesis. It regulates carbohydrate, protein, fat metabolism. Iodine is necessary for producing it. Or thyroxine is also called as thyroid hormone. Which is correct? This is easy. Ascent of sap is basically how your water, minerals and all the other substances are absorbed and taken to the upper parts. That is simply put ascent of sap. Answer here is option A, right? Iron is essential for the synthesis of thyroxine. Next up, dwarfism results, or why does an individual suffer from dwarfism? Excess secretion of thyroxine, less secretion of growth hormone, less secretion of adrenaline, or less secretion of growth hormone. So what is the condition, or what is dwarfism? So dwarfism is a condition wherein we observe that there is stunted growth, right? There is stunted growth. We see that body is not fully developed, and this normally happens because of less secretion of growth hormone. So correct answer is option B, right? So very good, all of you. Very, very good. Next up, question number 28. Dramatic changes of our body, right? So dramatic changes of body features associated with puberty are mainly due to the secretion of what? Estrogen from testes, testosterone from ovary, estrogen from adrenal, testosterone from pituitary, testosterone from testes, estrogen from ovary, or we have testosterone from thyroid and estrogen from pituitary. Simple. Answer is option C, right? Testis produces the male sex hormone testosterone. Ovary produces the female sex hormone, which is the estrogen, that are responsible for regulating the secondary sexual characteristics. Everything else is wrong. Question number 29, students. Question number 29 is a very commonly asked question in your examination. So please star mark this, right? A doctor advised a person to take an injection of insulin. Because of what? His blood pressure was low, his heart was beating slowly, he was suffering from goiter, or his blood sugar levels was high. So why did an individual have to take an insulin shot? Yes, very good. We know that insulin is responsible for regulating blood glucose level. So in this particular individual, his blood glucose level was very high, which is why he needed to take a shot of insulin in order to bring it back to normal. So well done, all of you. Well done. Now we'll move on to last 3 questions. Last 3, and we are done. The hormone that increases fertility in males is called as dash. The hormone that increases the fertility in males, which is the male sex hormone. You need to give me the answer to this. Yes, it is testosterone, right? So correct answer is option B, testosterone. Next up, which of the following endocrine gland is unpaired? That means that they don't exist as a pair. We have adrenal, testes, pituitary, ovary. Adrenal, testes, ovary are all paired glands, while pituitary is unpaired. So correct answer is option C. Oh, we have 2 more questions, sorry. 33 tak hai. Junction between 2 neurons. The fine point or the junction between 2 neurons is called as dash. Cell junction, neuromuscular junction, neural joint, or synapse. We know the answer to this, right? The fine gap that exists between the axon and the dendrite, the axonal end and the dendritic end is what we call as a synapse. And last but not the least, various life processes in our body are controlled and regulated by which 2 systems? Very, very good. Correct answer is option D, the nervous and endocrine systems. So students, there you go. Right now, all of you have finished successfully 133 questions. I kid you not. You sat with me right from the beginning and we are done. You made it till the finish line. Now you realize that at one go, maybe you committed so much time and you have finished so many questions where you have revised so many concepts at one stretch, right? Now I'm sure it is not easy for you to sit and think and give me answers. I know it is very taxing. You all have school tomorrow. Some of you have exams tomorrow. But if you've made it till the end, I'm very proud, right? Super duper proud. Now, if you enjoyed this class and you want it for all other science subjects, right? Especially for chemistry, for physics, for, you want it for mathematics, don't forget to let me know in the comments of this video. And if you enjoyed this class, of course, very, very important that you let me know as well. Okay, Pranjal, can you tell me what is your doubt? I'll take some time to, take your doubts as well, right? Neuromuscular junction is the junction between the axonal end and a muscle. What is pons? Pons is a structure that regulates the breathing. Pollution, okay, pollution is there. Ma'am, what is metabolism? Sum total of all the chemical reactions that happened in our body. That is what we mean by it, right? Okay. What else? Jaldi se. See, bio may mainly understand that you need to have a lot of recall, right? So a lot of recall is necessary. So make it a point that you practice a lot of questions, look at the diagrams, and of course, don't forget to, read through the notes regularly as well. Pranjal, I'm waiting for your doubt. Otherwise, I'll be signing off soon. Or else, see, sexual reproduction more than asexual because of variation. Function of adrenal gland produce adrenaline. Ma'am, if vasectomy, sperm duct is cut, then what is released during ejection of sperms? Isn't it only semen? Yes, it is. So basically, during that time, there are no sperms which are getting released. It is mainly that, right? So, Ayushman, that's mainly the case. Ma'am, please do NCERT question and sample papers. Yes, I will do, right? Okay, students, so with this, I will say tada bye-bye. Thank you so much for staying with us till the end. If you like such classes, we have a lot, right? We have a lot of practice coming your way. So hit the subscribe button and I will see you all soon. If you enjoyed the class, don't forget to let me know in the comments. And whatever doubts are there, let me know in the comments. I will answer it personally. But for now, I will sign off and all of you take care. Up until then, students, lots of love to all of you. All the very best. I'll see you all soon. So thank you so much. Bye-bye and good night.